Broadcasting from their world headquarters in Texas, it's the Arcade Repair Tips Live Show. The show that discusses arcade repair, restoration, news, and more. Now, here are your hosts, Tim and Jonathan.
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 113 of the Arcade Repair Tips Live Show for July 2026. And guys, it's a hot one here in Texas. We hope it's a lot nicer where you are. But my name is Jonathan. I'm the producer, director, and editor here at the Arcade Repair Tips video series. And joining me today, as always, is Mr. Arcade Repair Tips himself, Mr. Tim here. Tim, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Good. It is hot.
It is very hot. I don't know if it's not just the heat. It's been extra humid.
For sure.
And just sticky. You know?
Well,
I don't know
so we've had some Saharan desert stuff, so Saharan, what do they call it? The dust, Saharan dust.
Yeah.
We've had coming over, and apparently that's kind of put this kind of layer over us that's kind of insulating us with all the heat.
Yeah,
and also making our allergies
hot.
kind of act up too. So if you've been having some allergies.
I have been.
So, but yeah, so that's all exciting, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about arcade repair stuff, Tim.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, though, how's it going otherwise besides the heat?
It's going. As you know, I have taken, in the last 6 weeks, I was gone 3 of those weeks. I've been home for 2 weeks, and I leave Sunday for another week. So
yeah, it was hard to squeeze this in tonight, even.
It was, even hard. We had a special project, which we can't discuss because it's super secret, right?
Oh, okay. Special project.
But we had a special project, and so we're a little bit late tonight. Appreciate you guys hanging in there, and but we wanted to get it in. Didn't want to try to do it remote again this month, although we may have to in the future.
Yep.
But nothing seems to be slowing down. Every chance I get, they keep sending me. I'm getting ready to head to Wilmington, North Carolina. I've never been there. Maybe drove through there, and so I'm looking forward to doing some work in that area. Last 2 weeks ago, I was in Pensacola, and everybody's like, well, how was the beach? I said, it looked pretty. I drove by and saw people out there. They looked like they were having fun. Except for it rained, like, really hard. 2 or 3 of the days. Like, so hard. I've never seen rain that hard. You couldn't see droplets.
Oh, my God.
It was just hardest rain. And later on, I heard it was a tropical storm that came through there. And, but I was working really early morning to really late at night, so I got to drive all the way down the beaches and see everybody having fun. But it gave me some good vacation ideas maybe later this year. But things that just, they just never slow down. Everything is just keeps ramping up. We keep getting more business, which is good. Job security, but at the same time, and I'm a little tired. I really am looking forward. I got the next 2 days off. I was off Memorial Day and Father's Day. I wasn't off any days in between.
Wow.
And this will be the first 2 days in a row I've had in, 3 or 4 months. 2 days in a row is like a vacation. So I'm looking forward to, we're going to have a cookout and all the good stuff and plenty of other food. So looking forward to family. Landon's coming in. We're going to have everybody's coming to our house and do a cookout. So we're going to have a lot of fun. What do y'all got planned?
So we should say, before I say that Happy Independence Day to all the y'all in the United States here. Because my weekend has started, and it sounds like yours has too.
250.
Yes, exactly. 250th
250th
anniversary of the United States. This is a big one. We're getting together with my parents just to hang out. They're having a parade in their neighborhood, so we're going to go over there, do the parade, swim a little bit, just take some time. We may go see a fireworks show tomorrow night. To be honest with you, though, my kids not into fireworks.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't find them great. I don't know.
So you need to watch on TV.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know, have you heard about what they're going to do in D.C.?
No.
So the average fireworks show, like around Tyler or something, they shoot off 2,000 or 3,000 things, and a really monster fire, maybe 100,000.
Right.
Washington D.C., 850,000.
Goodness.
Mortars going off.
Golly.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know, but I saw today where you could buy a thing of 16,000 black cats for $234 at the fireworks stand.
That's not bad.
16,000. You light them and you run, and it pops for 16 minutes.
There you go.
I'm like, that's great. I think we always enjoyed, our neighborhood pops off quite a few. For those of you who don't know, Jonathan kind of lives in town.
I'm in town.
And I live just outside of town. So mine's kind of a town and country, But everybody outside, everybody inside shoots them too. But outside, they really can shoot them and nobody cares. The only problem is we had so much rain forever, and now we haven't had any rain.
That's right.
And it's really dry. Yep. So I'm hoping that everybody stay safe. Be
we want to get through this weekend with everybody having the same amount of fingers. Right? That's right. That they went in with. So for sure, but you do have to be careful when you're popping them, and if you have like a burn ban in your area, and we're hoping to get some rain tomorrow night, Tim.
Well,
so hopefully if we get some rain tomorrow, that'll help. But lots of firework displays going on. It's going to be a great time. I'll probably watch the Washington D.C. thing. Can you imagine 850,000 shells? Golly. That's like. It's 10 times bigger than the biggest one there's ever been. That's what they say. But well, you know who said it was the greatest ever. I don't know. I don't know whether to believe him or not, but he said it's the greatest thing you ever saw. So, and he doesn't exaggerate ever.
Never. So it was like, I don't know, but when they were talking about how the local fireworks show may shoot off 300, and so this is going to be. In 300, think about it. If you shot 300 fireworks off in your front yard, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But imagine 850,000. So I think it's going to be pretty big. And they also always do a really big one in New York City. So I'm honestly, we may just sit there and watch it on TV.
Yeah.
I think that'll be fun.
My kids would like it better. So for me, this is the big news for me is today is my last day on my job.
The last day. Did we announce it last time?
Nah,
we didn't even talk about it.
If you want to know about it, we'll talk about it in the after show.
The after show, that's
But
right.
the thing you should know is that I got a present, a going away present.
Yeah.
From my coworkers. So because I left on good terms, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And they sent me this, which I thought was pretty cool. This is a 3D pinball kit. So can you guys see? So they actually sent this to me. So thank you to my former coworkers now for the wonderful present. But the reason I'm mentioning it is because obviously it is related to what we're talking about right now.
So is it wood?
Yes, you have to build it.
You build it together.
And I think you can paint it too if you wanted to. Yeah. But you actually build it, and it's pretty heavy. You can feel the weight on it. I was really surprised. Oh, yeah. It's got some weight on it. If any of you guys have built this, let me know how it is because I'm kind of curious.
Copper plating bells, and it's got little little amusement park you build up in there.
On the back, it says scored. Let's see. It's got a retro circus decoration, a triangle rebound. So it's got triangle pop bumpers. Yeah. It's got infrared tube indication spot. So I guess you can tell a star score display on the bottom panel there, like on the play field. Manual flippers and a power supply that does USB A to DC power charging. So there you go. Copper plating bells and a ramp launched pull rod. Of course, just like what you'd have with the original pinball machine. So this is my
crazy
going away present.
I've never seen one before.
Me neither.
So what a unique gift and what a cool present.
They obviously know me.
What a thoughtful present.
So there we go. But yeah, today was my last day at my job, so kind of bittersweet. And if you guys want to know more about that, we'll talk about it in the after show because I don't want to get into it. We've got arcade things to talk about here.
Okay.
So before we get to that, though, we do have a whole bunch of people in the live chat today, and I do want to recognize all the people here. So we started 30 minutes later so Tim could get here. He literally got here 5 minutes ago.
Right.
So literally got here. He walked in the door. He had just enough time to look at stuff real quick, and then here we are. So Tim, we got Arcade Survival is here. Johnny Popper is here. Millstar Electronics is here. Bobby Broadway is here. Jumpin' General is here. Let's see. General Strife is here, Tim. Seahorses All Night is here. We got Current Phonograph is here. And that's everybody, I think. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anybody? No, we got more.
More people coming in.
TTEZ3HR is here. We got, and I think that's everybody. That's everybody? Okay, there we go. I'm going to read some of these real quick just so we can catch up. Seahorses All Night. Is this where I learned how to get a Star Trek captain's chair into a 60-in-1? Unfortunately, I don't think we can help you too much with that. You do still need a screen for, I don't know, can you put a screen in that captain's chair?
It could be done.
There we go. So General Strife has a really good one here, and this is actually something I kind of want to talk about. It's not really so much arcade related, but kind of old school related. Did you guys see the news that PlayStation is done making physical games? So in 2028, no more physical games. Tim, what do you think about that?
I'm not surprised. I mean, cost savings alone, but I don't know. It's kind of sad. It's kind of a sad end of an era, maybe.
And it's tough to it's tough to think about games without physical media because what does that do with preservation? Right. Right now, you can collect obviously if you do Super Nintendo cartridges, you can still play those games. Nintendo 64 cartridges, even PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 CDs or DVDs, Blu-rays. If you keep those, and obviously you can continue to play those. So what does this do for preservation going forward, though, if you've only got digital copies of things? It's a good question. So let's see what else we have. Somebody said build the game, play the game, Tim, with our thing. Yes, I'm very interested in that. Somebody says much like the Atomic Arcade Pinball by Toby. So
Okay.
I don't know if I don't remember seeing that. So and then Alan's here, Tim. He says happy upcoming 4th, and happy upcoming 4th to you as well. So we're so thankful that all you guys are joining us tonight for the show. We've got a lot of questions to go over. And Tim, I think we should go ahead and get started with those.
Let's go.
Okay, so this first question we have is from Andy, and Andy writes, I have an old 1991 Terminator 2 stand-up arcade cabinet that was working perfectly fine until we moved into our new house.
You should have known better than stay in your old house.
That's right, can't move games.
No,
right?
can't move them.
Yeah, so it now seems to be stuck in a boot loop with static being displayed on the screen. Do you have any advice to get it working again? Thanks, Andy. Now, Tim, like you mentioned, this is a very common story with pretty much, a lot of different questions where we have a game, is working fine, and then all of a sudden we move it maybe across the room, maybe to a different house, a different state, and then all of a sudden this thing doesn't work like it did when it was at the old house.
Right.
And maybe it only worked in the old house, Tim. I don't know. Yeah, that could be part of it too. But with what Andy said in his email, what advice would you give him as far as solving the boot loop issue with the Terminator 2 arcade?
Well, the good news is it seems to be working before.
Yes.
So when it's working before and all you did was move it, that's probably an easy fix. So we're always going to start with connections and make sure that nothing didn't jostle loose and that kind of things, and make sure that our voltage is still dialed in. It's easy for stuff like that to get out of place or, misaligned or something you might say. I think that's probably all it is. He just needs to check his connections, check the voltage, and I think he should be good. But you're very sure a connection could have got damaged or something.
Yeah, because for the most part, if it was working and then you moved in and it's not working, it's got to be something simple typically.
I would think so.
I mean, there's an outside chance that something did maybe blow or something like that, like you had like a power supply just blow or a game board or something, but that's kind of rare.
Check your plug, make sure that something wonky didn't happen with that, just unplugging it. And, a lot of times, y'all ever move a game and you don't know what to do with the power cord?
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a refrigerator. You ever move a refrigerator and you're like, what do I do with the cord? You're trying to dolly it and the cord's falling down and everything, or a dryer or something. And you always stick it down in the dryer and put the lid on it. But kind of a game can be the same problem. You're like, what do I do with this cord? And a lot of times cords can get damaged just from moving and stuff. So I would definitely check. We always say, always start at power. Check your power. Make sure your cord's in good shape. Make sure a prong isn't loose or something, because hopefully it's not too serious an issue, though.
Sounds good. So, Tim, I'm going to go ahead and put up this the slide here for Andy real quick so we can kind of talk over it a little bit more. Since the cabinet was working before the move, it's probably something simple. With issues like this, we like to take the ASAP approach, Tim, which means...
always start at power.
That is correct. So check the power supply using a multimeter. Make sure the voltage is correct. Highly recommend checking the voltage on the game board on the other side of the harness, as well as any test points that may be on the board. That way you can ensure that not only is power getting to the board, it's getting through the board. Right, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so be sure to also check for any loose connections. Like Tim mentioned, it's very common for connections to disconnect during a move. Check the JAMA harness as well. See if the ribbon cables, as well as the ribbon cables connecting the game boards together. Tim, this board set's very similar to what we'd have with Mortal Kombat, where we have like multiple boards kind of ribboned together with these ribbon cables, connected together with ribbon cables. So you want to make sure that those ribbon cables are making a good connection. It doesn't take much for them to come loose in a move. Happens all the time, so do check those for sure. And then just make sure that all the rest of the connections, any other connections that you may find between boards or to the harness, are in good shape. And then probably not a game board issue, but like we said, we won't necessarily rule that out. But check the connectors, check the power supply first. And if you've pretty much checked everything, you're still having trouble, then maybe at that point we may have a game board issue. Tim, anything else here for Andy before we move on?
I don't think so, Andy. All of that's pretty straightforward. But if you have any additional questions, please email us back.
Okay, there we go. So hopefully that helps you out, Andy. And if you have any additional questions like Tim mentioned, just let us know. You can email us at questions@arcaderepairtips.com. Be happy to help you out further. And please keep us updated and let us know if you get your Terminator 2 arcade cabinet back up and running. So, Tim, I said Johnny Popper earlier. That is actually Gary from Arcadia Retrocade in Arkansas. So, obviously, Gary, we interviewed during one of the interviews podcast. I got to do that. So, Gary, it's so good to have you here in the live chat with us this evening. We're glad you're able to make the show. Tim, running an arcade is fun, but it's also a lot of work. So we know what Gary and people like him go through in order to keep games up and running, and we do appreciate all the work that you do.
What part of Arkansas is it?
Northwest Arkansas, Tim.
Well, shoot. I've been up there like 8 times this year.
So
I'll probably go up there before the end of the summer.
There we go. So Arcadia Retrocade, Tim, and like I said, I got to interview Gary a
I
while
need to go
back.
by and see his place.
Yeah, super nice. And if you're in the Northwest Arkansas area, make sure you check out Arcadia Retrocade. It's a great place to go to get your game on, Tim. As we like to say. So. He also says, I was a guest. Yeah, he says, I was a guest on the show a few years ago when I was facing a mountain CRT chassis and needed help sorting them out. Still working through them, reflowing a K4900 as I'm watching the show today. That's awesome.
Nice.
So K4900s are one of our favorite monitors. They're once you dial them in, Tim, and you do the rebuild kits on them, they are so reliable. They last so long. So hopefully once you get that all reflowed and all the parts replaced that you need to replace, that thing's going to run for a long time there, Gary. So. Okay, I think we're caught up on the live chat.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and go to our next question. And this one is from Toby. And Toby writes, I recently purchased a Frogger arcade cabinet, and there seems to be a few problems with it. The most pressing issue so far is that the screen is jumping to the right whenever I turn it on. I've been adjusting the knobs on the back of the machine, but nothing seems to stop the screen from moving. I have been able to slow the jumping down a bit with the knobs, but not enough to stop it. I'm not anywhere close to an expert on these machines, so any tips or advice you could give me would be great. Thanks. So, Tim, here we go. We've got Toby here, and Toby's got a Frogger arcade cabinet, and Tim, he says the screen is jumping to the right.
Sounds like it's kind of scrolling maybe, or
Right.
just a little bit of jump.
Probably
Okay.
like maybe a sync or a hold
Yeah,
issue.
it's out
Right.
of sync probably.
So he doesn't say necessarily. He's just saying it's. He just said what was the? I want to look back at it here just so I can see it. It is flipping to the right, jumping to the right.
Okay.
Jumping to the right, Tim. So he doesn't really say that he can see a picture. So we don't know for sure if it is more of a sync issue or more of a hold issue. So what would you recommend for Toby here to get his Frogger back up again?
Well, again, this is where a picture would have really helped because there's
Sure.
a little bit of difference. But we're going to do just like we talked about before. We're going to start at power. We're going to make sure that the power is right. We're going to check the connections because that could definitely be the problem. And then he needs to watch our video on adjusting an arcade monitor. Just turning every knob back there, there's certain ones that you need to turn and coordinate with each other. And I think if he'll watch that video, you don't want to just start moving everything because sometimes it's harder to get back. But it could be that it just needs a sync and needs to be rebuilt also. But we won't know that until we kind of get a little more information from him.
For sure. So, Tim, what I did was I put a picture up here that I found on the web of a Frogger that's out of sync. And the reason I put this picture is so he could compare whether he's getting an out of sync picture or a hold adjusting picture.
An out of sync picture is going to look like what Jonathan's showing you. Just a bunch of
let me go ahead and put it up here while you're
lines and stuff and just nothing. You can't see it. You can't play it. An out of whole picture you could probably still play. It would be very frustrating because the screen would keep moving to the right or scrolling occasionally, and that is a different issue. So a little bit more information would help us. But if you once you've tried all the adjustments and stuff, it may be time to just rebuild and do a cap kit and stuff on it anyway, just to help you better get that down. But you really need to check your B+.
So what I'm going to say, I already have the slide up here, Tim, but what I'm going to say to Toby is that this is out of sync.
Yeah, that one is.
Right, so this one that I have a picture of up on the screen, and if you're listening to this on the audio version, you need to check this out. But this picture is an out of sync monitor. Okay, if your picture looks like you can still see characters, but the screen's just flipping, that's a hold adjustment problem. Okay,
right.
But if you have something like this where it's very scrambly and you can't get it to like align properly, this is out of sync. And so we just want to show you the difference that this is out of sync, but you may have an out of hold issue where it's just basically I can see the characters, but the screen keeps flipping.
And a lot of it depends on the monitor chassis that you have, because some are kind of hidden pots and things that you might not. You might be adjusting what you can see and not be adjusting the right thing at all.
Or you may be adjusting the adjustments on a breakout board,
right,
but not on the main chassis. There may be some additional adjustments on the main chassis that aren't on the breakout board, if that makes sense as well. So, Tim, I'll go ahead and read the slide here. From your description, it sounds like your Frogger monitor is having a sync or hold problem. Start off by checking that sync wire. Your sync wire is connected properly to the input pins. The input pins can develop cold, cracked, and broken solder joints over time, so check their connection to the board as well. Also, Frogger uses composite negative sync, which is the same thing that we get with like JAMA, for instance, Tim, and a lot of newer style games. Anything 90s and up is pretty much composite negative. And so it should be connected to the chassis accordingly. Tim, we've seen it before where people are trying to hook up composite negative sync to composite positive sync positions on the chassis. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you're matching the your chassis to the negative sync wires on it and not the positive sync. And if it's a composite and your chassis does not have a composite, you may need to split out that sync in order to connect it to like the horizontal and the vertical. Right. If that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, let us know and we can help you out with it. But you may have to split the sync depending on your monitor that you're using.
Yeah. So 2 pictures we need. One of the screen and one of the back of the game inside the monitor itself. What the circuit boards and stuff, show us what that looks like, and I bet you we can really help you a little bit more if this was not any help.
For sure. Now, let's say we verified that the sync connection is good. You can try some adjustments on the monitor chassis like we talked about. And when you're trying those adjustments, you really want to focus on frequency or hold potentiometers. So anything that's like horizontal frequency, horizontal hold, those are the kinds of things we're looking at for. Vertical frequency, vertical hold, depending on the way that the screen is moving. And those are going to probably make the most difference. And Tim, it is very important that your B plus voltage is dialed in. We've seen some of the strangest things happen when your B plus voltage is either low or high. And so you want to make sure whatever monitor chassis that you have, that your B plus voltage is dialed in. And most chassis have an adjustment that you can use to make that. And if you take a picture of it and send it to us, we can tell you what the B plus voltage should be. We can probably tell you where the test point is for that and guide you in how to actually make sure that B plus voltage is dialed in. Tim, anything else here for Toby before we move on?
I don't think so.
Okay, sounds good. So again, Toby, if you've got a screen kind of like what we just showed here in the picture, that is out of sync, and that's a little bit different. But if you really can see most of the Frogger game and it just seems to be flipping back and forth, that's more of a hold issue. So at that point, you may just be able to adjust your hold adjustments and be fine. But if you are having a sync issue, try some of the things that we just talked about, and that should help you figure it out. And if not, like Tim mentioned, picture of the front, show us what the screen looks like, picture of the back so we can identify the chassis, and we can definitely give you more guidance from there. So, okay, I think we'll leave it there for Toby, Tim, and I'm going to go ahead and come over to the live chat a little bit more. Apparently, Gary says that Arcadia Retrocade is only 1 mile from Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, okay.
So you should know that.
Yeah,
or at least we know.
I've been by there. Yeah, I've worked in that area. I normally stay in Springdale, but I work all over Fayetteville, Bentonville, Rogers. I'm all over the place up there when I'm up there.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. Seahorses All Night has a really good one for us here, Tim. He says, you can drop an Operation Wolf from the International Space Station and it would still work. And I do actually believe that is the case.
I think so.
Yeah, if you've ever tried to move an Operation Wolf, I hope that you're still recovering in the hospital from your back trouble because goodness, it is super heavy. So just be careful when moving those big games like that. And Tim, Terminator 2 is kind of in that same vein.
It is a heavy game,
too. And Revolution X, the Aerosmith game, like those potentiometer-based light gun games are pretty tough on everything as far as trying to move them.
They're real wood cabinets, man. They didn't play.
Absolutely. Well, and you got to remember that they kind of are banking on people leaning on them because of where the guns are positioned, and so they have to make them really strong just so kids don't hurt themselves, and they definitely did. Jumpin' General says, I'm working on a restoration of Miss Pac-Man cabinet. It's pretty rough, but it's going well. It's for my church pastor and his family. He wants an LCD monitor. I told the pastor it's powered by prayer. So LCD, like if the CRT is working, obviously we're always going to go with CRT, and we'd rather do the repair on that. But if you put an LCD in there, there's a good chance it'll probably last a really good long time.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, no harm, no foul in putting in LCD monitors. And we should say that one of our favorite suppliers, Holland Computers, RetroArcade.us, is running a sale for Independence Day, Tim.
Yay.
You can find that coupon code if you're a part of their mailing list. And so we may put that up on the Facebook page if you guys need that. Let us know and we can post it. But usually, Tim, around every major holiday, they give you like 10 or 15% off.
All the time.
And so if you're looking for that LCD monitor, now may be a great time to buy, and you can buy from Holland. And like I said, they're great about shipping out quickly. If you have any issues, they're very good to deal with. They'll help you out in a lot of different ways. We have had nothing but positive experiences with Holland Computers. RetroArcade.us, same company, Tim. And so if you're looking for an LCD monitor, now's a great time to buy from our friends over at Holland. They'll help you out.
Yep.
Okay, Tim. I think we're ready to go on to the next question.
Okay.
Let's do it. This one is from Jeff, Tim. Hello, guys. I want to swap a switching power supply into my Space Invaders Deluxe cabinet. Do I need anything besides the power supply to do this? I checked 5 points for voltage on the board with the original power supply, and I'm getting bad readings on 2 of them. Thanks a lot. I am new to trying to fix my own games. I had 8 uprights around 30 years ago, and I now have time to get back into the hobby. Jeff from St. Louis. Well, Tim, it's always good to hear somebody getting back into to collecting arcade games after being out of it for a while.
Kind of what I did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes, you get into it for a little bit and you got some games and then, life happens. You got to sell those games off and then you get back in, you get another game and you're back in. You see, and that's the thing. Just when they try to get you out, pull you back in. I mean, the draw of arcade games is very strong, Tim. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have Jeff here and he wants to do a swap. Now, we should mention that you can rebuild this power supply without too much trouble, too.
Sure.
So if you wanted to rebuild the original power supply, that may be an option for you, just depending. But Tim, we're gonna say that he wants to go ahead and replace it with a switcher, okay? Because that's what he mentioned in the thing. But if you want to go the rebuild route, that is a route you can go. We should say that in a lot of companies, I'm sure Arcade Parts and Repair probably has a kit to rebuild that power supply if you want to do that. So, but we're gonna answer his original question, Tim, instead of talking about a rebuild, and that was putting a switching power supply in there. So, Tim, does Jeff need anything besides the switching power supply in order to perform this?
Technically, no. Right. I mean, it could be done.
Yeah.
But you'd have to do a lot of rewiring and stuff. So we would highly recommend that you get a switching power supply with a kit on it that's a plug and play.
Yeah.
And it costs a few bucks more, but, man, it'll plug right in, and that would save you a ton of time.
Yeah, and now we should say that you want to make sure that the wiring in your cabinet is good, right? Because if your wiring is not good, like if the wires going to those other 2 test points that you tested are bad, guess what? It doesn't matter what power supply is in there, you'll still be bad. So what we'd recommend doing before installing it with the adapter and the new switching power supply is let's do some continuity checks between the connector and the different parts of your board to make sure we're getting connections all the way around, right, Tim?
Yeah.
Because if any of those connections are broken, you can put any power supply you want to in there. It's not going to work. So just make sure that all of your wiring is good before you go this route. But like Tim mentioned, you can do this without the adapter, but man, it's going to save you a lot of headache to go with the adapter. So Tim, let's go.
Well worth it.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and put this up here real quick, Tim. So while technically you can do it with just the power supply, we highly recommend using a plug-and-play kit such as the Midway 8080 power supply kit adapter from Arcade Shop. This kit will save you a lot of time and headache. And Tim, we have a link here on the screen, but we also have a link down in the show description that you can buy it from. Tim, we've done a lot of these different adapter kits from Arcade Shop. What do you think of them just as a whole, Tim?
Oh, I've never bought one that didn't work. For number one, they all worked, and they just save so much time. Plus, what if you want to sell it and somebody is a true purist kind of, and they want to switch it back, or some people prefer the linear style, or the older style and stuff. So I like it because it doesn't damage anything. You don't have to rewire it or nothing. I think they're great
for sure. So if you decide not to go the kit route, though, you will need either a custom wiring harness adapter that matches the original power connector, or you'll have to cut the connector off and connect the wires directly to the new power supply. And that's what we were talking about. So yes, you can just use the power supply, but it's going to be you tracing all of the wires in that connector that you see on the screen and finding out where they go in the power supply and going, okay, I got to put this one here, I got to put this one here, I got to put this one here, okay, I got crimp terminals on this, fork terminal, got to put this one here. It's basic, or you'll have to get a power distribution block and then connect, the 5 volts here and then connect it to multiple places there. So it becomes it takes what would be like a 1 hour job or a 30-minute job and makes it like multiple hours worth if you do it that way. So but again, in both cases, you need to make sure that your wiring is good, because it doesn't matter if you switch out the power supply or not. If the wiring is bad, you're still going to be non-working, basically. So always double check that before you do it. But like we talked about, either way, if you do the custom wiring adapter, or if you cut off the connector and connect all the wires to the power supply, it's going to involve spending some time with some pinouts and tracing some wires. With the adapter, it's basically just plug and play, like Tim mentioned. You put the adapter on the switching power supply, you tap into the AC somewhere along an AC line, and then just hook that connector in, boom, and as long as all the wires are making a good connection, Tim, you're money, right? You're good. So there's a term the kids have nowadays, and I can't even remember what it is. But anyway, you're not crashing out, Tim.
Okay.
There you go. So so I think the adapter saves you a lot of time. But Jeff, if you really want to go like the tracing wire route and all that stuff, that's totally up to you, and that will save you a little bit of money, but will cost you in time. So totally up to you as to what decision you want to make. Tim, anything else for Jeff here, before we move on?
No.
Okay, sounds good. So Jeff hopefully answers your question. Let us know if you decide to just go with a switching power supply alone and do some rewiring, or if you decide to go with the adapter from Arcade Shop. And then let us know your experience with whichever way you decide to go. And we'd love to hear an update from you on how it went with your install. So, okay, Tim, I'm moving over to the live chat real quick. We got Joysticks Arcade here. I want to open a retro arcade. I have about 35 arcades and a half a dozen pinball. Is that enough? How many more do I need, and what advice would you have? So
I think that's a really good start.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a local place that just opened, and I would say they have less than that. Maybe, I think the attraction, though, is going to be having a newer pinball.
yes,
If you could have at least
Just
one or two newer style, then you have some people that even when they're traveling, they look for places to play those games. They'll play your other pinball games, but you need an attraction, something that's going to draw people in. That would be my suggestion. But hey, we got several people in the chat room that run or operate arcades. They may be able to help you with more than we could. But I would be looking for that. I think that's a pretty good amount of games
for sure.
to start.
And like I said, I mean, that's a lot of arcade games. And you got to remember that the more games you have out on the floor, the more repair you're going to have to do. And so what you'd want to do is, like you said, it says 55 arcades. I would start with like 40 and keep 15 back, even if they're working.
Yeah.
So that way you always have ones to swap out on the floor.
If they break, just move another one. That way when people come in, they don't say, nobody wants to read that Google review, half the games are broken.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, when we were at Chuck E. Cheese and I worked there, 3 games could be down, and that would be the review. Half of them were broken. Out of 102 games, half. So I'm like, 56 were broken, but no. They're always kind of exaggerate on that a little bit.
It's always the ones they want to play, that's why.
Yeah, so I would definitely keep a couple, 2 or 3 spares at least so you can rotate them and make your game room. It's better to walk in a game room with 20 working games than to walk in one with 50 that truly half of them aren't working.
Right, exactly.
That's my opinion.
Always keep some back. And so, yeah, I would even say, like, if you have the storage for it, keep about 15 back. I'd put 40 on the floor probably. And put your best ones on the floor. Keep, 15 back that are working. That you
just
can
rotate them around. Even if they're not broken, just rotate them around and have fresh games.
And if you're using the free play model, you don't have to worry so much about what games you have on the floor. Because it's not like with quarters, they're voting with their quarters, right? And so, but if you're using the free play model, it's like any working game, they're probably going to get some play just because it's there. And so, with that in mind, you may just want to make sure that you, like we said, keep some games off to the side, out of the arcade, in a back area, tech area, wherever, and make sure that you can pull them out easily in case one of the games is down. You don't have, like Tim mentioned, putting that sign on an arcade. All it takes is 1 or 2 of those on the floor, and people just think everything's bad. So, make sure that you try to avoid that as much as possible. With pinball machines, it's the same way. If you only have 5 right now, I may only put out 2 or 3. Just so we can keep those 2 back. And pinball, as we all know, is a lot harder to work on, and it's way easier to work on it in your back tech room than it is for you to be working out on the floor with people around the arcade.
Right,
and all that
waiting
kind of
on you to fix it.
Exactly. So, and when it comes to arcade, I think having at least one new one is good, like Tim mentioned. But if you have some favorites that people love, Addams Family, for instance, I mean, that also brings in the audience, right, Tim?
Sure.
All those ones that people remember playing. I mean, obviously, Addams Family is a big one. Twilight Zone. I was trying to think of like some classics that if I go to an arcade and I see it, I kind of have to play it every time. The Getaway,
right?
High Speed 2. The Getaway is fantastic. If I see that, I have to play it, kind of thing. What'd you say?
Pinbot.
Yeah, Bride of Pinbot or Pinbot. Yeah. Oh, I'm a big one of that. Let's see, Medieval Madness,
like Flash or something.
Yeah, let's say like any of like the '90s Williams games, like I said, late '90s, like Medieval Madness or Circus Voltaire, or stuff like that.
F-14.
Yes, F-14 Tomcat is fantastic. So like there are certain games that players just love, like they remember from playing as kids, and so like those kind of games on the floor will also help you. But Tim's right. One new pinball machine is worth your investment, and pick something that's probably been in production for a while, so they've already ironed out all the issues with it. I wouldn't get like a brand new one. So like Transformers came out, Tim, recently, but I think it's new, but I think they've worked out some of the issues with it, and so like that may be a good one to get, and it seems to be a good theme, and so you may look at something like that. But I don't know if I'd buy like the first off the line, just because you want them to be able to figure out all the issues before you get it. So for sure. So there's just our advice, 2 cents, right? So there you go. Let's see. Seahorses All Night, you can start an arcade alone with an Operation Wolf. When I was a kid, a gas station had a 3-game arcade or something,
True.
So I mean, you can start an arcade with anything.
Kind of depends on the location, yeah.
Yeah, so sure. Jump in general, I picked up a switching power supply. It's putting out the correct voltage, but it's a 10 amp power supply. Is that okay? It's running the LCD cabinet. I would say that's fine for LCD cabinet for sure.
Yeah.
That's more than enough for most games. Now, it depends on the game. If it's a newer style with like a PC style board, I'd probably want to jump that up to a 15 or 20 amp just because. But if it's a basic classic game or a 60-in-1, you're probably okay with the 10. Yeah, I was about to say. It just depends on what you're running in it. Anything PC based though, I'd probably go higher with. But anything that's like classic game board style or like a 60-in-1, 10 amp is probably fine. So, okay, Tim, I think we are caught up on the live chat. Let us go to our next question from, I think, Nici? That's how I'm going to say it. Nici. N-I-C-I? Okay.
I think so.
Nici. Why can't player 2 play on the player 2 screen when it's their turn on my cocktail cabinet? They have to change seats and come around to the player 1 screen controls. I have a Wonder Boy arcade game. So, Tim, it sounds like Nici here has a cocktail cabinet.
Right. And
so he's playing, he puts it in 2-player mode, but for some reason...
It's not flipping the screen.
Right, it's not flipping the screen. The 2-player has to
run around
to the other side to play. And so, Tim, what do you think is going on with Nicci's cabinet that it's forcing basically players
It's not a true cocktail cabinet.
No.
Because, but it's real simple. That game board was made to either be in a stand-up or a cocktail, and you have to switch it to cocktail mode or with a dip switch on a setting so that it knows to do that.
Yeah.
The game doesn't know that what cabinet it's in. The board doesn't. You have to tell it this is a cocktail cabinet, so when you go to player 2, flip your screen and go over there. So it's basically a dip switch that takes care of that.
Now, we should say that is the case in Wonder Boy's case.
Yeah.
But some games, it's like you have to ground a pin
Right.
in order to put it into cocktail mode.
True.
And so you do have to
This
look
game in particular.
Right. You have to look at the manual. But in this game in particular, yes, we're talking about a dip switch. But it's very important that if you want to make this change to your arcade cabinet, that you consult the manual. Very important. So make sure you do that before doing anything else. So, Tim, let's go ahead and talk about how we do it with Wonder Boy real quick. So it sounds like you have your Wonder Boy game board set to upright mode, Tim, which is used for stand-up arcade cabinets, instead of table mode, which is used for cocktail or sit-down cabinets. When the game board is set to table mode, it should flip the screen and controls so player 2 can play from the other side of the cocktail cabinet without having to get up. And Tim, I think it's just hilarious to think about somebody running around to go up to the player 1 side and then run back and then run back around and run back. So we're going to save your second player a little bit of exercise. But though, Tim, it would be good exercise, I guess. If you're looking for that, get your steps in for sure. So the manual for the game states that you can enable table mode by turning dip switch 1 to the off position on dip switch bank B. Be sure to turn the cabinet off, change this dip switch setting, and turn it back on in order to make it take effect. And Tim, we have a whole video on adjusting dip switches on an arcade board that you can check out if you want to know more about that process. But you'll see here, I actually took the page from the manual, Tim. It's kind of hard to see, and you'll see the red outline there. It says table or upright, and it'll say on and off. So right now you probably have, it sounds like you have that flipped to the on position where it should be off, apparently. So the manual for the game states, like we said, you enable table mode by turning that dip switch to off. So make sure that you turn that dip switch to off, and then once you turn the game back on, it should flip the screen for player 2 and allow the player 2 controls to work.
Easy fix.
Exactly. Super easy fix, which is really great. Like we mentioned, though, some games, there's different ways of doing this. There may be grounding a pin or something else. Vast majority of the time, though, Tim, it is a dip switch, and in this case, it should be a quick fix for Nici. Tim, anything else for Nici here before?
I don't think so.
Okay, sounds good. So, Nici, hopefully answers your question. Good luck adjusting that dip switch, and if you need help with it, please let us know. You want to take some pictures and send them to us and say which one I need to adjust. We can do that. Send them to us, and I'll make a little square around the one that you need to do, and then you should be off to the races. So, again, not a very easy fix, and something you should be able to do regardless of skill level, I would say. So, there we go. Okay, Tim, coming over to the live chat real quick. Jumpin' General says his was running a Pandora's box. That's probably fine. Pandora's box boards are not very power hungry. I think you're going to be okay with an LCD and a Pandora's box. With 10 amps should be fine. Let's see. Bobby Broadway says new T-shirt idea. Don't be a dip switch. So there we go. Very nice. Let's see. Hugh Solemn Tim says, I want to build my own Killer Instinct arcade. Which video would you recommend I start? So the big thing, if you're going to build it from scratch, is that we don't really have a video on this, but the real Bob Roberts has a great article on how to build a power supply section in the bottom of your cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bob used to sell the entire power supply mounted to a board. Remember that?
Right.
So it had the power supply, it had the AC distribution block, it had all the stuff already done. But he has a great article on his website about how to build that cabinet bottom. And so if you want to, we always say always start at power. And so if you build the standard real Bob Roberts power supply section, as we would call it, for your arcade cabinet, that is the place that you want to start for sure. Okay, then you'll need a JAMA harness, of course. Killer Instinct, I believe, is a JAMA Plus game, so you'll need an additional harness for that. And you'll need a monitor of some sort, and then you'll need, obviously, controls and things. So
and a game board.
And a game board. The game board's probably the toughest part to come across. There's a pretty big demand for Killer Instinct as a whole, unless you go with like the PC board route. And there are some multi-game boards, Tim, like the Pandora's boards that may play it as well. So you could always do a setup like that with the Pandora's box or something. But always start at power, which means building that bottom section first, right, Tim?
That's right.
Excuse me. So that's really what it comes down to. And if you need a link to that real Bob Roberts article, we can send that to you. Just send me an email at questions@arcaderepairtips.com, and I'll send you back the link. And Bob has amazing instructions. It's a great article. He shows a diagram picture, too, that we also use on our website, Tim, that will show you how everyth's laid out. And it doesn't take you about, probably 30 minutes if you have all the parts to really mount it. And just get you a nice piece of wood. And the nice thing about that is that you can use it outside the cabinet and get everything working. And then once you get all working, you put it inside a cabinet, right? Yep. And so it makes it super easy. So we highly recommend building the standard Bob Roberts AC, DC power supply section in the bottom of your cabinet first. That's definitely the first place you need to start. So let's see. And he says, thanks, guys. So there we go. So I'm glad we can answer your question. Tim, I think this is the last question that we have for this month. And this one is from Vince, Tim. And I did write Vince, and he wrote back and said he may be watching. So, Vince, if you're watching this, thanks for watching. Okay. So, Tim, this is Vince's question. It has to do with a 412-in-1 board conversion. He says, good morning. I have a machine identical to the one you converted to a 412-in-1 in your video. So we do have a video on that, Tim, as you know. I purchased the same 412-in-1 Game Elf board. However, I could not get it to respond. The main menu would come up. However, I couldn't get the screen to rotate, and I couldn't get it back into edit mode. I tried changing the dip switches and pushing the edit button, but nothing worked. I did send the unit back and was thinking maybe I just had a bad unit, and I should try another one, but I'm still a bit skeptical. I did everything you did in the video, but it still didn't work. Any ideas? Thank you, Vince. Tim, this conversion can be a little tricky.
I think so.
Now, the first thing we should say is that these Game Elf boards are not manufactured to the highest standard.
It could be a bad board.
It could be.
It could be that
We
simple.
have gotten bad boards. We've gotten bad 16-in-1s.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We've gotten bad 412-in-1s. This is a very common issue. So, and like I said, when they're cranking these things out, Tim, it's not like they're doing it to the highest standard of PCB. Right? They're literally cranking them off the line as fast as they can, and so sometimes solder joints aren't so great. Sometimes parts don't get placed where they're supposed to be by the pick and place machines. It can be it's a very delicate process that it's easy to break if you're not super careful. And like I said, they're putting them on the machines and they're doing it really fast. And so sometimes things just come out not working. Okay? So it's very possible that you got a bad board. But with that said, there are some things that you need to remember when doing this. Tim, you want to give us some of those real quick?
Yeah, so one thing that you got to be careful about is make sure your test and service switch are hooked up correctly. Because that's how you get into it. And if I would trace those wires back and make sure they're wired to the right one, that you have a ground wire and so forth. Because if it's not wired up right, then it's not going to matter. Right. That won't work. And also make sure that your pin 27 on your JAMA harness is not connected to the ground on the power supply.
Yes, this can lead to a lot of problems.
Right. And that's a real common problem with these games.
For sure.
A lot of people don't know that.
JAMA harness has 28 pins on it, right?
Yeah.
So at the very bottom, not on the power supply side where the key is. Okay, right. That's how you know. The key is at pin 7. Everything above that key. 5
volts, 12 volts, all
everything above that key is power.
Way down the other end.
Way down the other end, there's a pin 27, the second to last pin. If that is hooked up to the ground on your power supply or the ground to like the controls, that is wrong. Right. And it can lead to a bunch of problems, including buttons not working, including service switches not working, Tim. And so very important that if nothing else, you just cut that temporarily in order to disable that connection to the board. Because if that pin gets grounded, it can lead to issues with the board and the board not working properly.
Correct.
Sure. So very important there. So let's go ahead and talk about this real quick, Tim, and we'll we'll kind of review it here for Vince so we can kind of tell him. So it's possible that you received a bad 412-in-1 Game Elf board like we talked about. These boards are not manufactured to the highest standard, which can lead to various problems. With that said, make sure that your test and service switch buttons are wired to the correct locations of the JAMA harness. And Tim, the service should be wired to pin 14 on the solder side, the test pin 15 on the part side. Okay, and so if you don't know what that is, the part side is the part of the board with the parts on it, which we would usually call the top of the board.
Right.
And then the solder side would be like the bottom. That's basically on the solder side of the board. You should only see solder and solder joints. That's all you should see. So what we typically call the bottom of the board. So again, service is at pin 14 on the solder side, test is at pin 15 on the parts side. And Tim, the dip switches on those don't always get you into the edit menu. You really need to use the test
buttons.
and service buttons,
Yep.
Correct. So you also need to make sure, like Tim mentioned, that pin 27 on your JAMA harness is not connected to the ground on the power supply and not connected to the ground on your controls. Okay,
Right.
Very important. This board uses this pin as button 6 for each player. Tim, this is actually what we call CHAMA, Chinese JAMA. Right, which uses pin 6 or button 6 as pin 27. And so make sure, if nothing else, you may just want to cut that wire. And when you cut it, make sure you leave a little extra on the harness to reconnect it if you need it. Okay?
You may need that button.
Exactly. You may need that button. Now, on the Game Out 412-in-1, you usually don't, because it only uses 4 buttons for most of the games because they're vertical. But with that in mind, you may still need it, or you may still want to hook it up. So leave you a little bit of wire there so you can splice back into it if you need to. But having that pin connected to ground either on the power supply or on the controls can lead to board malfunctions. Very important. Do not leave that hooked up to ground on either side, either on the power supply or on the button side. And as long as you do that, it should work. But if you need additional help, you can always reach out to us. Send us a video of what you're trying to do, and we may be able to help you out further. Tim, anything for Vince before we move on?
No, we'll go on.
Sounds good. So Vince hopefully answers your question. If you need additional help, contact us at questions@arcaderepairtips.com. We'll be happy to help you out. Otherwise, hopefully some of these tricks that we've taught you will help you out with your next 412-in-1 board. And Tim, if you do have an extra JAMA board around, or JAMA cabinet around, it might not be so bad to try to switch it in there just to see if it does the same thing, because that'll at least give you a little bit of trial and error kind of.
Yep.
So there we go. Okay, Tim, now we're about to move into our discussion, but before we do that, I'm going to come over to the live chat real quick. Let's see. Jump in General says, my 60-in-1 worked last month, and now it's broken. So, I mean, that's 60-in-1 boards right there. They're just, I mean, sometimes they're great, and then other times they don't. He says 60-in-1 versus buying a Pandora's box, kind of up to you. It depends on what kind of games you like.
Right, a lot of different games.
Yeah, the 60-in-1 is nice because it has basically most of the classic games that people want to play, and it runs pretty decently. Obviously, it has its issues, but it runs pretty decently. Pandora's box boards usually give you more options. Mm-hmm. I will say that. But
more fighting games,
and the interface
like
is a little nicer. Usually, they run off Android or a version of Android, so there's some benefits to that. But the 60-in-1 to me is usually more reliable and a little bit cheaper than what you get with the Pandora's box boards. But again, totally your preference. Decide what you want to do and move from there. Pretty much both boards, I think you wire up the same. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference from that perspective. Arcade Survival, I've had a few 60-in-1 boards not work. I've had multiple switching power supplies show up, set to 220 volt, and it throws voltages off. Very important. Great point here, Tim. Make sure that you check your power supply is set for 110 if you're in the United States. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're in another country, just make sure it's set to whatever your country's voltage is. That's very important. But here in the States, it should be set to 110, not 220. And it can lead to a lot of issues if you have it set wrong. A lot of issues. So make sure that you check whatever the AC voltage setting is on your switching power supply before you hook it up. Tim, we always check the voltage before we hook up a switching power supply. Always. So we will hook up just a regular AC cord to the AC power, and then we will check the voltage on with our multimeter on just the power supply itself before it ever gets installed in the cabinet. Very important to do that, because you never know who was doing the power supply last. Holland used to tell us that they do check all the power supplies before they ship them out, but not every supplier does, okay? And so you always need to double check it. Even from Holland, double check it, make sure it's set to what it's supposed to be set to, and that the voltages are being output correctly. Let's see. YouTube Punk says Vince better be watching. He wrote me back saying he would. So if he's not watching now, he may be watching this later too. So we'll see. But yeah, I think hopefully Vince is watching. And Vince, if you need additional help, again, questions@arcaderepairtips.com. I write people back telling them we're going to cover their stuff on the show. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they don't write anything back, or I don't know, maybe our email goes to junk or spam on their side.
Could be.
I don't know. But we always try to write people back if we're going to cover their question on the show.
For sure.
So, okay. I think we're good. Okay, we're gonna keep it there. If there's anything else in the live chat, guys, go ahead and chime in. And we're gonna go ahead and get into the news and discussion for this month, Tim. And Tim, this was kind of news that I think we all knew.
We all knew. Yeah, we were waiting on it.
We were just waiting on it to be official. Right, exactly. And so the first news story for this month, Tim, has to do with Sonic the Hedgehog Pinball. It is now official, and it's being designed by a pinball legend. Tim, can you probably guess who that pinball legend is?
Yeah, that would be Steve Ritchie.
Steve Ritchie. And Tim, we were listing off games earlier. I think some of those that you listed off were Steve Ritchie
a bunch
games.
of them were.
Yeah, so F-14 Tomcat for sure
yeah.
is a Steve Ritchie
Black
game.
Knight.
Yeah, Black Knight, but one of our favorites, AC/DC too.
Yeah.
Man, AC/DC is so good. Golly. So many great Steve Ritchie games, Tim. We talked about High Speed 2, The Getaway. Love those too. But this is another one of those Steve Ritchie games by Jersey Jack Pinball. Now, Tim, I think the last one he did was Elton John, if I remember correctly. So this is his new one, though, guys. So Jersey Jack Pinball has officially unveiled its long-awaited Sonic the Hedgehog machine, designed by Steve Ritchie. Revealed on Sonic's birthday, the game features modern Sonic characters, fast-paced gameplay, immersive audio-visual effects, and multiple additions for collectors and operators. It's the first mass-produced pinball machine dedicated to Sega's iconic blue blur, and is already generating major excitement among pinball and arcade fans. Tim, I know that you didn't grow up at the same time period I did. What is your opinion of Sonic the Hedgehog as a theme?
I think it's a good theme because a lot of people your age are buying pinballs. Right?
That's true.
It's a kind of a target audience right now.
Yeah.
And I've seen Sonics. I think they're cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Arcade Pro says Sonic looks amazing. I think it does too. I want to play it for sure. So Sonic, to me, the reason why I think this is a great theme, Tim, is that the Sonic movies have been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like the live action Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and then the Knuckles TV series they're so good. My kids still watch them.
So if you had one, they would want to play it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, even though this is not based on the movies, and I'm glad it's not, because movie-based, like, comic book and video game adaptations don't always look so great in the pinball sphere, you know what I'm saying? Avengers comes to mind, Tim, or Iron Man, some of those do not turn out so great. But I will say that going with, like, the cartoony style, that in modern cartoony style of Sonic, I think is the right way to go. And Tim, it looks amazing. And I hope we get a chance to play it very soon. Steve Ritchie design games are always pretty decent. It doesn't matter. And Tim, I haven't played Elton John. Did you get to play Elton John?
I have not played it.
Okay, so hopefully we get to play Elton John at some point. But guys, he's the king of flow for a reason. Right. And to see another game from him is just amazing. So I can't wait to play this, Tim. If you end up making it up to arcade that has it, please let us know what you think, and I'll do the same. And hopefully we'll be able to check it out at some point. Really looking forward to playing some Sonic the Hedgehog pinball in the near future, Tim.
That'd be cool.
Millstar Electronics says Steve Ritchie, who worked on Williams' unreleased Devastator at the AMOA show in 1984. Yes, so he started at Atari doing Superman pinball, I think.
I think so.
I mean, back when Atari did pinball machines. I mean, that's how far back that Steve Ritchie's been going. And I tell you what, it is really just special to see him still designing pinball machines to this day. Now, with that said, there's been a lot of good designers that have come along, after him that have been really good. So I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Steve Ritchie. I still think some of his games are the best design, but there's been some recent designs I really like too from newer designers as well. So. Okay, Tim, here's our next story. Now, this one, Tim, I think was interesting because we don't think about pinball being banned, I think.
I remember this. Yeah.
So, a South Carolina law legalizes pinball for youth, ending decades-old prohibition, Tim. So, for nearly 70 years, South Carolina technically banned anyone under the age of 18 from playing pinball. The outdated law was rooted in old concerns that pinball was a form of gambling and has finally been revealed. Tim, I thought,
thought we proved this wrong. Roger
Sharp took care of this, right?
Right.
So anyway, but
I guess the law didn't get passed.
Exactly. So now the law has been repealed, finally allowing minors to play. While the ban was rarely enforced, arcade owners say removing it ends years of uncertainty and helps preserve pinball for future generations. So Tim, it's good to know that now that people under the age of 18 can legally play pinball
and lose their money.
That's right, just like everybody else in South Carolina. And it is funny what we used to think was so, you know what I'm saying? I always think back, when people thought the world was flat. Of course, there's still people like that, I guess. But, things like that. And back when we thought pinball was gambling, apparently, Tim. Like I said, Roger Sharp kind of took care of that for us, like, way back when, right?
Long time.
And for some reason, though, South Carolina apparently didn't get the memo. So now they have, and so
they finally got around to it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And you see, somebody said Millstar Electronics, same reason as the pinball banned in the 1950s. Yes,
Right.
exactly. But that was the 1950s. Here we are in 2026, and we're just now repealing it. I think they're about 70 years too late.
Yeah.
But at least they got it repealed. That's something good. But
If you're in South Carolina, you can.
yeah, your kids. If you got kids, if you got kids and you live in South Carolina, they can play pinball again. So there you go. But anyway, Tim, just kind of funny
I
and
thought it was
very
funny.
interesting. Now, Tim, people may wonder why or where we get the news and why we pick the news we do for the show. So when we post all the news on our Facebook page and X feed, like whatever gets the most traction is what we cover on the live show. And so all of these are ones that were the top of the news views for this past month. So so if you're wondering why we cover certain stories here on the live show, it's all based on how many views you guys give stuff on social media. So if you want to see us covered on the live show, make sure you check out our Facebook page, our X feed, and that you're viewing those articles because that's exactly what we go by to pick them. So, Tim, this one is a very interesting story, and it has to do, it's arcade tangent. Is that a good way to say it? Space Invaders lotto game pisses people off after promising everyone $100,000. So it's not quite that bad, but I think the article gets to the point of it. Indiana's new Space Invaders scratch-off game has sparked controversy after player Mike Fields thought he had won a $100,000 prize, only to be told the ticket was a result of a printing error, Tim.
No.
Okay, the Hoosier Lottery pulled the game from stores, launched an investigation, and says affected players will be compensated. The incident has left some players considering legal action over the confusing rollout. So, Tim, when they say compensated, that means
you get
not $100,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
10,000.
Yes, exactly. And so now some of these that got these wins that said they were going to win the $100,000 are now considering legal action because of all of this. Tim, what do you think of this? Obviously, lotteries try to use licensed properties to make the popular games, but
if it says you won, you should win. You won.
Exactly. I mean,
pay up. It's like they got the money. Come on, just pay them up. Do it as publicity.
Yeah, exactly. And
we
so
decided to honor them.
Yeah, YouTube Punk says printing error. Excuse me? Yeah, exactly. Come on. Why not own up to it at least a little bit?
Anybody could say that then.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all printing errors.
Yeah, exactly. That $1 million ticket you have, that was a printing error.
Right.
And you're not going to get the $1 million. I'm with you. I kind of feel like there should be something here that should be addressed in some form or fashion. But the $100,000 seems like it would, like I said, maybe is it too much? I understand that if it's a misprint or whatever, but they should get something significant out of it. I would think
so.
I mean, I think 10% is okay. If you want to do the lawsuit, I understand completely. But man, I'd really like to have another $10,000 right now. Even if I was looking forward to $100,000, it'd still be nice. Millstar Electronics says misprint lottery. Yes, misprint lottery. That is what happened here. And so, Tim, do you play the lottery at all?
Rarely and occasionally. I have a couple tickets. I don't think I ever checked them.
Yeah.
It's like I'll be traveling or somewhere and it'll be really high. I hardly ever play it unless it gets way up there. And then I might buy a ticket now and then. I remember one time I was in California and I was at a 7-Eleven and I was doing an inspection there. And when I finished, the lady behind the counter says, "You're not going to get a ticket? Tonight's a big lotto drawing." And I thought, no, thank you. And I walked outside and the guy said, "Well, good luck. Did you get a ticket?" And I thought, man, it's two people asking me to get a ticket. I'm going to go get a ticket.
Right.
So I got a ticket. I fly back home to Texas and I hear Lotto won in California, bought at 7-Eleven.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm thinking, what the heck? I got to go check my numbers. Wasn't me. And it wasn't that 7-Eleven.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
But that's how I got my hopes up.
Yeah.
So, occasionally I'll play occasionally. I don't really see anything.
Have we talked about we have a lotto pact, basically, that if I win the lottery, that I'm going to give something to Tim, and Tim's going to give something to me.
Well,
right?
sure.
We have a lottery pact. Obviously, we're friends. So, I mean, but yeah, so Tim's going to get something from me if I ever win the lottery. The problem is I don't play very much.
Yeah, I don't play.
Yeah.
When it gets up there, it's really tempting. When it starts getting like $1 billion or something.
Yeah, oh, I know.
I mean, $1 million would help. Mm-hmm. But that's not as life-changing money as it used to be.
No. Right.
That's more like
retirement.
Yeah, save for retirement or invest money.
Yeah, exactly.
Or buy a pool or something. $1 billion is, I ain't working again, see you later.
Yeah, my kids aren't working again.
Right,
Their kids ain't working again.
Right, we're fixing to own the Peterson compound, this 18-story house down by the lake, and I may never leave it.
Yeah,
I'll just order food every day from DoorDash. I don't know. It's fun to dream and stuff, but and you know, out there somebody wins. So you don't win if you don't play.
It's true.
So and if I wouldn't now, I don't get involved where I'm buying $100 tickets and stuff, and I can't. Every once in a while for Christmas or something, we'll put scratch offs in everybody's stocking.
Yeah,
that's kind of fun.
it is.
But I see those people every week just scratching, you know, and I just can't do it. I always see that as I lose way more than I win, and so
I'd rather take that money and put it into the stock market.
Yeah.
Like if I'm spending like $5 a week on it, I'd rather take that $5 and just invest it in something. That's me.
Yeah, this week last year we went to the casino, and I gave my wife $100 and I had $100, and I said, "See, you can blow $100 first." We both came back within about 2 minutes and had spent $20 each. So I had 80 and she had 80. And I said, we could keep playing and hopefully win our money back. Or we could, for $160, we'd have a really good steak dinner tonight. And we had a great steak dinner that night. And we played for 5 minutes and lost $20. I'm like, I'm just not a gambler.
Yeah. When we went up to Oklahoma, kind of for like our anniversary trip recently, we went to Broken Bow. Man, I forget how many casinos are up there.
Everywhere.
You know, and the pawn shop like right across the street. You know, so you can get more money. And I'm just thinking to myself, man, like I don't know, I just don't have any desire. Like my when I used to work for my uncle, we go to casinos a lot, like to eat, and because the food there was usually pretty good,
right, and reasonable.
But there's something kind of icky about it.
I don't know. Yeah,
that's just me. So, I mean, here's the thing, though. I mean, we could work on them, Tim. You know, work on some. I could see myself doing slot machine repair.
Yeah.
So, if we needed to. It's good money. So, there you go.
What we need to do is just work on cruise machines.
Yeah, there you go.
And cruise while we're doing it. All the games are fixed. We're going to be out on the sun deck. Call us when you need help.
There you go. It sounds good. So, but anyway, if you play the lottery, please let us know. We'd like to, I was about to say, we'd love to.
Yeah, anybody ever had any
luck?
luck?
I was about to say, if you've ever won, I'd love to hear
I don't know. That's kind of cool.
Even if it's $20, I think that's interesting. So, let's see. Bobby says once a year I do Powerball. So
I won $5,000 one time.
Yeah. Oh, $5,000?
I won $5,000.
Okay, that's a big one.
Yeah. Well, not in the lottery. It was the 2000, and that Brookshire's had a game, and
I remember this.
Every paycheck you got a scratch off kind of in your thing, and my son was helping me at the time scratching them, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, we won $5,000!" And I'm like, "I'm so glad this kid's not good at math." It wasn't. I mean, he said we won $500.
Oh, $500.
He said we won $500. We won $500. And I'm like, "You sure?" "Yeah, 3 of them." And we looked, and it was not 500. It was 5,000.
There you go.
So I did win 5,000, but that was a free ticket.
That was like a promotional.
Yeah, it was like for just company, like our employers.
It's like it'd be like winning like the McDonald's Monopoly game.
It was almost guaranteed somebody was going to win, and that was one of the bigger prizes.
There you go. So let's see what all we have here. Okay, I think that's all of it for you. Miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Tim.
That's true.
So, well, before we go on, it looks like we have a couple of questions. We have a couple more news stories here too, Tim. But let's go ahead and get to the questions real quick before we continue with the news stories. Let's see. Chad Swope says, "Have you ever worked on a 1959 Williams pitch hitter?
Ooh.
Why would you think the tilt relay not holding? Many lights are working due to this not holding. I push it up by hand and everything lights up, Tim. So the tilt bobber, I guess is what he's talking about, is not holding. And if he pushes it up, it's fine. But it's basically sagging down at this point."
Yeah, you're talking about an error that I'm not real familiar with. That I'm probably not the person to ask that question.
You may be able to get a replacement tilt bobber somewhere like Pinball Life. May have something like that.
Yeah.
So pinballlife.com is where we get a lot of pinball parts from. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a replacement tilt bobber.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to look into
or just take the bobber out itself.
Well, I know if it's for home arcade, you can do that. You don't have to worry about people messing with the game exactly. So if you wanted to remove it altogether, you could. But I wouldn't be surprised if Pinball Life has a replacement for that. To be honest with you, because they have replacements for tons of stuff. So you could do something like that.
Pinballlife.com, 3 L's.
Yep, exactly. So and like I said, or you could just, if it's for your home arcade, take the tilt bobber out just completely and just play the game. Because the tilt bobber is really only there to keep you from messing with the game.
Right.
And so if you've got people playing it that are mostly your friends and family, hopefully they're not picking up and shaking the game all the time. So you don't have to worry about it as much. Let's see. See Horses All Night. If you want to gamble, try fixing a Sega Turbo. That's about right.
There you go.
Yeah, so YouTube Punk. My wife worked in a gas station in a poor town, said it was sad watching people blow their paychecks on a video machine.
Yeah, paychecks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
see, that's just
Well, this is why we've done away with those in Texas. It's illegal to have those video machines like here at gas stations.
Oh, now?
You know,
Yeah.
now, like, they'll confiscate them. And it's nice, though, because there's so often you'll come across, like, a storage building just full of those things.
Mhm.
You want to talk about CRT heaven, Tim.
Right.
I mean, so there's a lot of CRTs in there. So you can always pull the monitors out for arcade games if you need it. So if you ever are at, like, an auction, like a storage auction, you see, like, a whole bunch of gambling machines, not a bad investment if you want to own an arcade.
Right.
So, because those monitors work really well on arcade machines as well. So, okay, I think we're caught up here, Tim. Let us continue on with our news here, Tim. With this next story now, Tim. This story's from Kotaku, which is usually just like a general video game site, but they actually had a story on the best pinball machines for beginners.
Good question.
Okay, yeah, it's a good topic, I think. And so, here's what it says: new to pinball, Kotaku recommends starting with approachable classics like Medieval Madness, World Cup Soccer, NBA Fast Break, Pinbot, Scared Stiff, High Speed, and the Getaway High Speed 2. These machines feature straightforward rules, forgiving layouts, and rewarding gameplay, making them ideal for learning the basics while still offering plenty of depth for experienced players. And Tim, I'd actually have to agree with that.
I think so.
These are all games that I think are very approachable, and you can get some good scores on. But then once you know the rule set, you can really go to town on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Medieval Madness is a great example of something where you can play it and just feel like you're good, even though you're not hitting the big shots.
Right.
But if you hit the big shots, you start to notice like your score going up tremendously. And so like Medieval Madness is one of my favorites of all time. I love that game. I have not played as much World Cup Soccer, but Tim, we've played linked NBA Fast Breaks before, which is so fun. Oh my goodness, so fun. And then Pinbot is an amazing game. We already talked about that. I would almost say Bride of Pinbot, but Bride of Pinbot's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
Because there's one shot that you have to basically be able to consistently hit in order to hit the big money.
Yeah, it's not a real beginner game.
Right, exactly. But it is fun still, I think, and it can kind of train you to hit that shot. It's very important. Scared Stiff is okay. I don't feel like it's as good as for beginners personally, but I think it's a fun game. So, and High Speed and High Speed 2, the Getaway, are fantastic. Again, Steve Ritchie games, Tim. Both those games are fun. High Speed is just the regular old non-DMD style with just the little scoring readouts on it. But the Getaway High Speed 2 has a DMD on it. It's amazing. Plays great. It's a wonderful game. Has a shifter on it. Like just you feel great playing the Getaway High Speed 2. It's amazing. So, and Tim, is there anything else that you would add to this list, or maybe I was about to say I'm going to ask the live chat as well. Are there any other pinball machines? Indiana Jones, I could see.
I would say that's not too hard, but it's fun.
Yes.
Maybe Pirates of the Caribbean, some of those era games.
So when you say Pirates, you're talking Stern Pirates or JJP?
Stern Pirates, probably.
Stern Pirates,
yeah.
I would say Lord of the Rings Stern is really good too, because you feel like hitting the ring shot is very satisfying, but you can get a lot of points without hitting the ring shot.
Right.
But the ring shot is fantastic. Like when you hit that ring, it really feels good. I have a original like X-Men. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really good for beginners because the Wolverine Bash toy is really close to you. And so, like, people can hit that very easily. But if you want to hit the big money shots, you have to shoot up the middle for Magneto. Very similar layout to what we were talking about with Lord of the Rings, right? Except Lord of the Rings has that cool side plate field that I like with the souls. Like, 500 when it says, like, stuff like that. Love that, too. So those games are really good, I think. I think the list that they gave was good. But some of the ones we also mentioned were good as well. Very easy to play, very easy to pick up. Monopoly is not. I have a Monopoly pinball machine, and that one's good if you know Monopoly already.
Yeah, that's
because you're moving around the board.
The rules,
right, exactly. So in Monopoly, it's all about moving around the board, which makes it very easy to understand if you already have a concept.
If you know Monopoly.
If you already know Monopoly, then it's very easy.
I could see that.
Right, exactly, for sure.
That's a good question, though.
Yes, for sure. Millstar Electronics, Star Wars Episode 1 being the last pinball under the Williams until October. Star Wars Episode 1's not bad. The thing that people have to remember about Star Wars Episode 1 is it's a Pinball 2000 game, so it's not what you would consider. It is traditional pinball, but it's not. Right? It's got the little, what they call that, like,
hologram stuff.
It's got the little effect to it that will display. It looks like the things are floating on the playfield,
right,
which is cool. But again, like for pinball traditionalists, they're not as big on Star Wars Episode 1. I like it. It's fine for me, but I think it depends on who you are. Linked Fast Break sounds amazing. They are. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, if you want to play this, you need to go to like a convention. A lot of times, if you go to like one of the bigger conventions, of course, Pinball Festival is a great one to go to. Mm-hmm. Texas Pinball Festival, a lot of times you will see the linked Fast Breaks. And it is basically like, so in Fast Break, you're trying to shoot into the hoop. And so every time you shoot the hoop, you get a score. right? And so when they're linked, it's like you're playing basketball against each other. You're trying to score 2-pointers and 3-pointers and everything like that. And so it is super fun to play linked. But again, it's also very costly to do that. And so not everybody can own 2 fast break machines, right? So, but it is cool if they are linked. Definitely need to play that. Arcade Survival, best pinball for beginners at a good price. Taxi, Tim, is what he says. Lethal Weapon 3. Lethal Weapon 3 is very affordable.
I would think so.
And it's very easy to pick up, too. Revenge from Mars, which is also a Pinball 2000 game. It's pretty easy to find. Bride of Pinbot. I love Bride of Pinbot, and like we said, but it's all about shooting that outside lane shot. Mm-hmm. So you gotta get used to that.
Remember, this is for beginner,
right? Exactly.
Somebody that's just gonna pop, kind of
right. And so you really have to be disciplined with Bride of Pinbot. But once you figure out how it works, man.
I would add multimorphics. Any of those?
Yes, the really multimorphic games. Yeah, they're very good because they the way that they
interact with you.
the way that they interact and are set up makes it super easy for most people. And so we would highly recommend multimorphic games for sure. And he says Diner as well, Tim. Diner is pretty good. So. I like Diner too. It's a good one. Let's see. Gary says, who else can still hear the 8-Ball Deluxe in their sleep?
Oh, sure.
8-Ball Deluxe we used to play all the time in Texas Pinball Festival. Mm-hmm. Was it Craig that had like that smaller model of it? You remember that?
Something.
Yeah, he had like a small model of 8-Ball Deluxe. I had never
cool.
seen it. It was different. Yeah, pretty good.
Like a home use one or something.
Yeah, exactly. YouTube Punk, any other linked games? There are, but I can't think of them offhand. Multimorphic, if you want to talk about linked, Cosmic Kart Racing is a linked game. So like it's an 8-player linked game, which is really cool. Multimorphic games have linking capability because they're newer. Of the classic games, though, I'm trying to think if there's any other ones we've played linked like that. Tim.
Not many.
Yeah, NBA Fast Break is the big one.
There
right,
probably
NBA
are
Fast
some.
Break is the big one. There's got to be at least another one on the list. Can't think of it right now, but pinball linking is cool. And so, like I said, if you ever see the dual fast breaks, like at a convention or something, like stand in line and play it, and get your buddy on the other one. You guys will have a blast.
Mm-hmm.
So. Now, Tim, this is the last news story that we have for this month, and Tim, this is super sad. My goodness, super duper sad. This was the one that got the most traction, as you can imagine, on our social media pages. A family-owned Fort Worth business plans to shut down after 3 decades. And Tim, we're talking about Tornado Terry's.
Yeah.
So after 35 years of serving families and arcade fans, Tornado Terry's Family Amusement Center in Fort Worth will close on August 9th. Owner Shannon Bell says years of road construction drastically reduced customer traffic, making it impossible to keep the beloved family-owned arcade open. The closure marks the end of a community landmark known for its classic arcade, pinball, and welcoming atmosphere. And Tim, Tornado Terry's was one of the first arcades to use the free play model.
Right.
Which is something that obviously a lot of arcades have gone to now. Basically where you pay one fee and you play everything for free. Right? Mm-hmm. And so Tornado Terry's was one of the very first ones to do that. And so this is sad. Tim, Tornado Terry's also used to sell a lot of parts. And so in the past, we have ordered parts from Tornado Terry's because what he would do is he would order from like Suzo Hap in bulk because they had so many games to fix. And then he would sell off the additional parts. And so we bought parts from Tornado Terry's before.
A lot.
And so that's really what makes it sad is that not only have they run this awesome arcade, they have also been a big friend to the repair community. So that really stinks for sure. And so we just want to wish, the family the best. And we're so sorry to hear about, having to close down. Tim, it's never a good day when an arcade has to close. Or when any business has to close for that matter.
35 years is a long run, though, especially in the arcade business.
Yeah, for sure. And so we just want to wish them the best in getting everything wrapped up. And hopefully it'll all work out for them, just overall. Because, it's sad when you have to do that, guys. It's emotional and really sucks. So, Millstar Electronics, sad moment in Texas. Tornado Terry's closed down for 35 years. Yep, that's what we're talking about. And, just sad, guys. Sad stuff. So, but we are, at the same time, though, like I said, we wish them the best. And hopefully they'll be able to wrap up things quickly and get everything shut down. Tim, that's always, just super depressing. Like I couldn't imagine, especially after more than 3 decades. And it just
it'd be cool. Maybe he'll sell some games. It'd be cool for some people to own a game that they used to play there.
Absolutely, and
so we can look at it from that positive light. For
sure. YouTube Punk. I've seen cities do this to businesses with the constant construction. Yeah, this sucks. In fact, when we had all of our games in the restaurant, we had that problem.
Yeah.
The restaurant, when it opened, they were in the process of putting medians up. to where you couldn't turn left directly into the restaurant. You had to go down and around.
Make a U-turn.
It really affected business. You would be surprised how many people don't want to make the U-turn just to go. I mean, so you have to really have a draw in order to do that. And construction like this, like especially if it takes a long, long time, can just absolutely decimate a business. And so, so I mean, that's something to always consider when you're looking at opening up an arcade. Is it in an area that's going to have a lot of traffic, and is it going to be under construction? Because that will definitely hurt your business. Tim, our downtown area here in the East Texas area has been under construction for a while, and the businesses down there have also been really hurting. And so because there's no place to park and everything's kind of up in the air, and so it's just amazing how much construction will hurt businesses. So you guys be sure to support businesses that you love that are in areas that are currently under construction. I know they will appreciate it a lot. Tim, I did want to mention why it's called Red, White, and Player 2. That was for the Wonder Boy.
Oh, okay.
The Player 2.
Yeah.
So that was the inspiration for tonight's thing. Obviously, it's Independence
I thought
Day,
it was
July
kind of
12th.
red, white, and blue. Yeah.
Well, Player 2. You know, we have problems with Player 2. So that's where the title came from tonight.
Yes.
So I just want to mention that before we get to the end here. But that is the inspiration for tonight. But anyway, let's go ahead and wrap it up, Tim.
Okay.
We're coming to the end real quick. So we do want to remind you guys that we want your arcade-related videos. If you want some free advertising for your YouTube channel, we're looking for people to submit short videos, about 10 minutes or less, about arcade-related topics. Send a link of your video to questions@arcaderepairtips.com, and our staff will review it. If we like it, we'll use it during one of our live show episodes. Make sure to put in a plug for your channel so people know to find you. And we look forward to seeing your submissions. And Tim, we haven't gotten many of these submissions for a while, but again, we know that some of you guys may be running YouTube channels that are just on the cusp of monetization, and we just want to help you get over that hump. If that means getting a little bit more views to your channel, getting a little bit more traffic, getting a little bit more subscribers so you can get over that hump, we'd love to help you out, especially if you've got arcade-related content. And so if you do, send your arcade-related videos over to questions@arcaderepairtips.com, and if we like it, we'll feature your video and hopefully send a little bit of our viewers and traffic your way. So just keep that in mind if you'd like to do that. That is open and available to you. Again, questions@arcaderepairtips.com. And Tim, definitely fitting with the 4th of July with you and the Uncle Sam outfit.
Right.
So there we go. And then, guys, we have our contact information. We have our general email at questions@arcaderepairtips.com, questions@arcaderepairtips.com. Make sure you put live show in the subject to get it mentioned on the show. Otherwise, we'll get around to answering it when we get around to it. We may even save it for the live show regardless, but if you want it on the live show, you put live show in the subject, we will definitely mention it on the show. Again, our general email, questions@arcaderepairtips.com. Now, if you guys send an email there and we don't reply to you and you don't see it on the next live show, you might want to send it again. Our spam filter is very strong, and because, as you can imagine, anytime you put an email address out into the open public, Tim, what happens?
Gets a lot of spam.
Gets a lot of spam. So if you do not hear back from us within like a month and you're like, oh my goodness, I wonder if they got it, send it again, please. So that way, maybe it'll come through the second time. If not, you may be out of luck. Maybe the spam filter is just kidding you. But we have to have something very strong because, again, public email addresses, while convenient for you, is tough to keep all the spam out on. So we apologize if your question does not make it through the spam filter, but at the same time, we're trying to do our best to make sure the relevant stuff gets through. So live show on the subject you mentioned on the show. Again, questions@arcaderepairtips.com. We have our YouTube page at youtube.arcaderepairtips.com. Of course, all of these fine people in the live chat, Tim, know that. But maybe you're listening to this on the audio podcast feed and you're like, I'd really like to check out the video for this episode. You can do that at youtube.arcaderepairtips.com. And Tim, we do try to cover the comments from the last live show on the next live show. So if you leave a comment here on episode 113, we will try to cover it on episode 114, obviously. So that's just another way that you can get your question into us, is by leaving a comment. But again, our YouTube page, youtube.arcaderepairtips.com. And then we have our podcast feed that has our live shows, interview podcasts, including that one with Gary, if you guys want to check that out. Question and answer podcast and more. And you can find that on Spreaker at spreaker.arcaderepairtips.com. You can find it on Spotify at spotify.arcaderepairtips.com, or iTunes at itunes.arcaderepairtips.com, or pretty much wherever podcasts are aggregated. Just do a search for Arcade Repair Tips, and guess what? You'll probably find us. And so whatever your podcast catcher of choice is, if you do a search for Arcade Repair Tips, we'll probably come up. But we would highly recommend that you listen to us on Spreaker, because we do get a little bit more ad revenue for that. So if you have nothing to do this Independence holiday, just fire Spreaker up and just listen to all of our episodes. We really appreciate it. But we get money regardless of which platform you listen on, but we do get a little bonus for Spreaker, just because that's where we're hosted. So if you'd like to do that, spreaker.arcaderepairtips.com, or you can just listen to it on whatever your podcast app of choice is. Tim, I'm a Pocket Cast fan. But if you're on iOS, you may be just a regular, podcast app fan. I don't know. So just whatever you have, though, Arcade Repair Tips, do a search for it. We'll probably come up. And if you would, leave us a review. You can leave reviews on the Spreaker, Spotify, and iTunes pages as well. And we'd love for you to give us 5 stars and tell everybody that you absolutely love us. So. And then we have our social media pages, Tim. We have our Facebook page at facebook.arcaderepairtips.com and our Twitter/X feed at twitter.arcaderepairtips.com. Yes, Tim, I'm not changing it. But it is still an X feed or a Twitter feed, if you will. But twitter.arcaderepairtips.com is now where our X feed can be found. And Tim, how often do we post on those social media pages?
Every single day.
Every single day. So if you want the best in arcade news and you want it delivered right to you on social media, then follow us on Facebook or X at those URLs that I just mentioned. And Tim, you don't have to do both unless you just want to. We post the same stuff to both. So It doesn't matter. You're not missing out on one or the other. There's a little bit better community, I think, on Facebook just because we started first. But you're more than welcome to follow us on X. You will get the same content in both places. Again, facebook.arcaderepairtips.com for Facebook and twitter.arcaderepairtips.com for our Twitter/X feed. We do want to thank also Mark for all of his contributions. He gave a lot for the Sonic the Hedgehog Pinball this month. So thank you, Mark, for everything you contribute to our community as well. Tim, do you have anything else here before we move on to the after show?
I do not.
Okay, so we should say that we are going to move into the after show. Some of the topics that we will be covering include the World Cup, Tim.
Yeah.
Have you been watching?
A little bit.
So the U.S. played yesterday.
They played very good
Bosnia-Herzegovina. They won.
They won.
So that means we're moving on to the round of 16. But they got red carded. Did you see that?
I did hear that.
We got red carded. But anyway, we'll be talking a little World Cup, so hopefully you guys have been watching that. Tim, we're going to be talking about how the New York Knicks won the NBA Finals. So good for them. They're the NBA champions. Tim, do you get to watch any of the series? It's pretty good.
I watched a few. Not a whole game of any of it. I was always traveling and working, but I did see some of it.
There we go. We'll also be talking a little bit of NHL, and of course the Carolina Hurricanes won, Tim. To be honest with you, that's surprising to me. I thought the Vegas Golden Knights had it, Tim, but the Hurricanes pulled it out. Good for them. Glad to see it, and we're glad that they won. So I mean, to be honest with you, like I said, I thought the Vegas Golden Knights were kind of going to run away with it, but it's nice to see the underdog win sometimes. That's what we got with the Carolina Hurricanes. And then Tim, we'll talk about Texas Rangers, the first place Texas Rangers, I should mention, in the division. We just rattled off our current record over the last 7 games is 6-1, Tim. We were on a 6-game winning streak, and I'm hoping that we can keep rolling that in and keep our first place wins. Big Texas Ranger fans, guys. A lot of Texas Rangers. We'll be talking a little bit of baseball. Whoever your team is. I watched a little bit of the Yankees-Boston Red Sox game the other night, and the Boston Red Sox came back. Sunday Night Baseball is beautiful. Tim, I'm not a Yankees fan, as you know. So anybody who's playing the Yankees, guess what? I'm going for the other team. Not the Yankees, ever. So, but it's always good to watch baseball. I love watching baseball. Tim will also be talking about some TV shows and movies that we saw. Did you see anything this month?
I Will Find You.
I Will Find You. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see Maternal Instinct?
Yes.
We will talk about that one.
Okay.
Okay, that is crazy.
I did see that one.
I went to go see Toy Story 5 with the kids.
Uh-huh.
We're going to go see Minions and Monsters tomorrow.
Fun.
Okay, and then I saw A Great Awakening, which is a religious film.
Okay.
That I will tell you about. And then I finished up Spider Noir on Prime Video, Tim.
Okay.
So, do you know what Spider Noir is?
I do not know. I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so I'm not going to get into this here. You can watch the after show.
Okay.
I'll tell you what Spider Noir is if you don't know. But we will be covering those. And then, Tim, I mentioned that today was my last day at my job.
That's right.
So I'll tell you guys
about your new job.
Exactly. I'll tell you guys how it went, and I'll tell you about where I'm working now. So we'll be working on Monday, first day. So anyway, so if you want to hear all about that stuff, just stay tuned right here for about 5 minutes, and we'll roll right into the after show. Don't have to change your channel or anything like that. What do they say? Same bat time, same bat channel, just 5 minutes late. So once we end the live show here, we'll run straight into the after show. So just stay tuned if you want all of that good content. Tim, anything else that you want to say before we wrap it up here?
No, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you in just a few more minutes.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to give a big round of applause to the live chat, Tim. We got a lot of people in here tonight. You guys are amazing. Great conversations all the way around. Great questions. And even a couple of great one-liners from Seahorses All Night. So about Operation Wolf. We had some great content tonight. So thank you all in the live chat for being here. And remember, if you want to be here for the live chat, we usually go live on the first Thursday night of every month at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. But tonight we had a little bit of a delay. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. And Tim, I think we got a better turnout over here because of that. So I don't know. Maybe starting 30 minutes later helped. But we do want to thank you guys all for sticking around with us through the live chat. And if you want to talk about any of the other topics we just mentioned, then please stay tuned for the after show as well. Tim, are we ready?
Let's go.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you guys so much. If this is your off-ramp, we'll see you next month in, what is it, August? Oh my goodness, August for the next live show, or we'll see you here in about 5 minutes for the after show. But remember, here at Arcade Repair Tips, when you fix the game,
you play the game.
Take care, everybody, and we'll see you here in about 5, or we'll see you next month for episode 114. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Arcade Repair Tips live show. All of our past episodes are available on our website at arcaderepairtips.com or on our YouTube page. This show is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please consult a professional before attempting to repair any coin-operated machines yourself. The preceding program is a Varcade Entertainment production.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the after show.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Yeah, so about 5 minutes there. Not too bad of a break, right? So thank you for sticking around if you're sticking around. So, and thanks for being here for the live show, too. We had a good time.
It was good.
Right? It was good. So we did really good. So, Tim, how did your June go overall?
It was busy but good. I took 2 trips, so I was home a week, off a week, home a week, back. I went to Birmingham, Alabama, and came back, went to Pensacola, Florida. And I've been back 2 weeks. Like I said, next week, if anybody is in that area, I'll be in Wilmington, North Carolina. So I've been at the beach towns a lot, but working. So not as much enjoy, but I'm hoping to get off a little bit earlier this time and not maybe get to at least go down to the ocean for a few.
Gotcha. So, so as far as I go, we had Father's Day, and I got this cool shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Can you read it?
Yeah.
I keep my jokes in my database.
Database, okay.
Big computer programmer joke.
I see that.
I appreciate it. So this was a shirt from my kids and my wife.
Uh-huh.
So Father's Day was good, and Tim, really, I've been working my last months over the last month. So at my job that I just ended today.
Yeah.
So I turned in my notice about a month ago. I gave them a month's notice just because I've been there so long, and I was able to get a lot of stuff done.
How many years had you been there?
Almost 14.
Wow.
1 month away from 14 years.
Wow.
So a long time. Love working there, actually, and kind of sad that I'm moving on.
Yeah,
so,
I bet.
But if you follow me on LinkedIn, which I'm on LinkedIn, I've already posted where I'm going to be. But I it's kind of a promotion for me, I guess. I'm going
Yeah, it's a
from
promotion.
being like a regular IT programmer to being director of IT for the denomination that my church is a part of. That's the Global Methodist Church. So
Nice.
it's going to be a big job. And I've got underlings now, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
right.
I've got at least one person under me, which is kind of a weird thing.
Uh-huh.
And so, just moving into a different role, a different position with a cause I really believe in, Tim. I mean,
Good,
so
you're right.
that's the biggest thing. And so it is a big kind of promotion for me. I'm very sad about leaving my job. I love my job that I was at. But at the same time, when an opportunity like this comes, it's hard to say no. So,
For sure.
it was just one of those things where I just felt like I had to go and take it. And it's going to be a little bit of a change for me. But at the same time, most of the time I'll be remote, working from here, working from the Arcade Repair Tips headquarters, Tim,
Right.
which is very nice. So all of the people who are going to be doing Teams meetings with me will get to see the nice arcade in the background, I think. So it'll be a fun time, I think. And I'm sure it'll be a lot of work because there's a lot of work to do, Tim. But at the same time, it's something exciting and really looking forward to it. So.
I think it's great.
Yeah. I've never been in the nonprofit world. I've always worked for-profit entities,
Right.
private entities. So this will be a change. And then obviously my role is different here in that I'm pretty much running a lot of the IT stuff at the top level. So not so much at the individual churches. They kind of
Right.
take care of themselves. The conferences kind of take care of themselves. But like at the top level stuff, that's kind of where I'll be. And so, we will assist, conferences and churches as much as we can. But for the most part, we're taking care of like the overall stuff. We need to know things like, we need to be having churches log in, reporting like attendance and all this kind of stuff. And we need systems for that. We need systems for legal stuff and all that kind
Right.
of stuff. So that'll be my job going forward. And so looking forward to starting that on Monday and looking forward to working with new coworkers and all this kind of stuff. So I'm very excited to be a part of the denomination that my church is already a part of, kind
Right.
of thing. So, which is really great. So that's my new job. Looking forward to it. We're going to skip the investment talk, I think, tonight, and we'll move on to, let's just talk World Cup. Have you
Okay.
watched any?
I have watched a few matches here and there, not the complete matches, though. I just have not had that kind of time. But I've been watching some of the highlights, and I'm pretty excited for Team USA. But also kind of rooting for Mexico, too.
Yeah, Mexico's really good.
really playing good. Sometimes you just kind of catch somebody you just like that team. I really like the stories about the people from Japan picking up the trash.
Oh, yeah, that was amazing.
I was like, why don't we do this?
Yeah.
It's like, come on now. All you got to do is pick up your trash.
I can't even get my kids to pick up their trash.
Right. I always throw my trash away when we go to a ball game. I don't leave it sitting there.
Yeah.
I think
Same
it's
with a movie theater. But
Yeah.
like when I leave a movie theater, there's trash all
trash
over. Yeah, I was
everywhere.
about to say. Especially when
I
they
don't
were doing
understand
the
our
Minecraft
culture
stuff.
of that. When all you
Yeah.
got to do is throw away your stuff.
Yeah.
That you dirty. So,
Yeah.
but
I agree.
I get that. I got that from the World Cup. If nothing else.
I tell you
Still
what, there have been
watching.
some cool games in Dallas.
Uh-huh.
The Netherlands. Did you see all them? Like when they came in, there were orange jerseys just all over
Yeah.
the place. It was amazing. So it's been fun to watch, and I love seeing the videos of visitors come to the U.S.
Coming to Buc-ee's
Yeah,
and
and
stuff.
seeing all
That's
this stuff.
good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
They didn't realize that we have all this stuff here apparently.
Yeah.
Like free refills. Free refills are a thing here.
Right,
Like we
yeah.
have free refills.
You get all the chips and salsa you want.
I'm going to go to the movie theater tomorrow to go see Minions with my kids, and we can refill our soda as many times as we want, right?
Right.
There's not a, we can use that freestyle machine that you always check out, Tim, and we can fill with whatever we want. It's amazing. So it's really interesting to see those kind of videos, just people finding out things about America that they didn't know already. So that's really good stuff. Let's talk about the champions, Tim. So the NBA, the New York Knicks are the champions. They played the San Antonio Spurs. A lot of people around here obviously going for the Spurs because we're in Texas. But Wemby, even though he was the best player on the court, Tim, he just couldn't overcome I would say the teamwork of the Knicks. I felt like the Knicks gelled as a team well.
I said that a couple. I think the last thing I said, man, they are playing good. They're peaking at the right time. And I thought the Knicks would win it all, and they did.
Jalen Brunson, dude, we had him on the Mavericks, but he was amazing.
He was awesome.
Yes. So, and we saw this like when Luka was out. Remember when we were in the playoffs and he took over the team. We knew he was capable of this, and we weren't able to sign him, Tim. And I'm still heartbroken over all that. So, but congratulations to the New York Knicks and all the fans. They definitely deserve it. Great job. And then the Carolina Hurricanes won, Tim. Again, really thought that Las Vegas was going to be able to take them out. And so congratulations to Carolina Hurricanes fans. We had one here last time, I think, Tim. Amazing job taking out the Golden Knights because I really thought the Golden Knights were going to decimate them. And so for them to come back, great job. So, and the Texas Rangers are doing really good, Tim. They lost yesterday, but they won 6 in a row up to that point. And you see, that's my theory. Just hang around.
All right.
stay around 500 and then rifle off those wins. That's what you want to do, and that's what happened. Hopefully, we can retain.
You got to peak at the right time.
Peak at the right time, and so hopefully we're going to continue on and maybe settle around and then go off on another win streak. So I'm very optimistic. Very optimistic that we can maybe do something in the playoffs this year. Seahorses All Night says in Japan the kids clean the schools. That's true.
They do.
Yeah, that's part of it. And so they already have a culture of that. You know what I'm saying? It's a built culture, and I kind of wish we had that same culture here. Alan says, I was at the South Africa versus Chechnya World Cup in Atlanta. It was fun.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Awesome to get to go to a game.
I had an opportunity to get the opportunity to buy tickets. I had an opportunity to have an opportunity to buy tickets, but I did not. So one of my credit card companies is like, hey, we've got a certain select amount of ticket vouchers for the World Cup, but you had to get in at a certain time, and I just didn't do it. I mean, I figured they'd be pretty expensive, so I was kind of
probably so.
I didn't want them that bad. So, but at the same time, it's pretty awesome. So, going to a game, it looks amazing. So, just seeing it on TV. Let's see. Arcade Pilot says, I liked Knicks winning and would have been happier with a Nets championship. Sorry, it is what it is. Hey, the Knicks, it's been a long time coming, I would say. So, congratulations to all their fans and everything. Like I said, they definitely deserve it, no doubt. So, Tim, let's talk about some movies and TV shows. Let's do all the ones that we haven't done, that we haven't seen together. So you mentioned the one you mentioned. Let's do yours first. Okay.
Have you seen the previews?
No.
I will find you.
I will find you, no.
Oh, okay. So it starts off real simple. A guy is in prison, accused of murdering his 5-year-old son.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. And this is no spoiler or anything. And his sister-in-law randomly shows up. Of course, none of his family wants to talk to him. And everything pointed to him.
Yeah.
And she shows a picture. She said, look, my friends went to Six Flags the other day. What do you think? And he's like, why are you showing me a picture of Six Flags? In the background, it's where his kid had a distinct birthmark as a kid 5 years older than his kid at the time when he died.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's like, that's my son. He's alive. So he's in the jail, but if he can prove that he is innocent, then if his son's alive, obviously he didn't kill it.
Right. And
so it's a kind of a 8-series whodunit, 8-part series, and they're all about an hour, and they're all really good. And they all keep you wanting to, as soon as it ends, you want to see what happens, cliffhangers and stuff. It is a great show. It was really good, and I highly recommend that anybody watches it.
I think I'll put it on my list. I'm curious. So
what's really good is that, like I said, I won't spoil anything, but how he ends up solving the case, I guess, is the deal.
Yeah.
So,
so that sounds amazing. So I'm going to add it to my list for sure.
Good whodunit.
Yeah. Okay. I will definitely add it. Let's talk about what I went to go see. Went to go see Toy Story 5, Tim, in the theaters on preview night because my kids wanted to go.
Of course.
It is really good.
Really
It deserves all the money it's making.
Aww.
I did not cry. My wife did a little bit. But it is sentimental. It's kind of
wraps up the other ones.
I wouldn't say wraps it up. Yeah. It really just, it's more of a continuation.
Okay.
And I would say if you're a big Toy Story 2 fan, which that's my favorite, this is kind of an offshoot more of Toy Story 2.
Okay.
So if you really like Toy Story 2, I would say that. And I know that the previews make it look like Tech versus Toys, but the ending is not really that. So I will say that. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to say, I know that the previews make it look like that, and it's not really that.
But thumbs up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So thumbs up. You should
How
watch
the kids like it.
They loved it.
I love it.
They want to go see it again.
Oh, wow.
But we have more stuff to watch. So
like
Minions tomorrow. So let's talk about Spider Noir, Tim.
Okay.
So have you watched
heard of it?
any of the Spider-Verse movies?
Sure.
Okay, like the cartoon ones from Sony. So there's a character in the Spider-Verse movies that's a noir detective style Spider-Man that is voiced by Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
This is a series on that one character.
Okay.
Except it's live action, and it is Nicolas Cage. Okay. So if you're a film noir fan, like I definitely am, you will love this. You can watch it in color or black and white.
Oh,
That'll tell you a little bit about it, okay? I did watch it in color, though.
Okay.
And it was really good. So,
it's on Prime Video.
Yes. If you're here's the thing. Okay, not to make a pun, Nicolas Cage is a national treasure.
Right.
Okay, not to make a pun, but
that's pretty good.
But it's true. He is amazing in this.
Okay.
And you forget how good Nicolas Cage is. I will say that. He is a really good actor. Oh my goodness. And because I feel like we see him in so much junk.
Right.
Like just trash
B
movies. Right,
yeah.
exactly. Like B movies. I mean, and like Con Air, okay, I love that movie. But let's face it, like his southern accent is lacking, okay? And The Rock is fantastic. Like The Rock may be one of my favorite movies of all time. And this Nicolas Cage is really good. And you should watch, even if you're sort of a Spider-Man fan, but you really like Nicolas Cage, like this is yours.
So do you have to rent it, or
no?
It's free
a series on Prime. So if
Okay.
you're a Prime member, you can watch it. So that's all you need to know, and it's definitely worth the price of admission, which is totally free. If you're not, if you're not super sci-fi, like super comic book, you may not like it because it does have a lot of kind of supernatural stuff in there. So it is Spider-Man, guys. Like there's super villains in it. Okay, just accept that. Jessica Jones is about the closest thing I can give you.
Okay.
So, like, if you like Jessica Jones, like, this is kind of like the Spider-Man take on that. So, but Spider Noir, Nicolas Cage does an amazing job, and just highly recommend it. Super awesome. So, let's see what we have here. Hugh Slalom says, what channel or app is I Will Find You? That's on Netflix, right? Netflix for I Will Find You.
Yeah.
From the trailers, I feel Toy Story could have had a game about, or something talking game like a Leapfrog. That's kind of our Game Boy. He says, the thing that it has is kind of like a Leapfrog, the tablet that they use and everything like that. That's kind of what they're getting at. But it could have had a Game Boy in there. It kind of does. My favorite character in it, though, is voiced by Conan O'Brien, and it is amazing. I will say that. I'm not going to spoil it. You should know that. It is voiced by Conan O'Brien, and that character is new, and it's amazing. So it is really good. Toy Story 5 deserves all the money that it's making. It is that good.
Good.
You should be watching it. Okay, Tim, Maternal Instinct.
Okay. If y'all haven't seen that, it's on Netflix.
It is.
And
you're going to give the summary?
No, go ahead.
No, you can do it.
I just wanted a preference that it was in our area, very close to where we live.
Agreed. So the premise, I'll give the premise, is that this woman...
Cop pulls a lady over.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's where it starts.
Yeah, cop
pulls a lady over, says she had a baby.
She has a baby.
So she said she had a baby in her car. She has a baby.
On the way to the hospital.
Right. On the way to the hospital. And she has a baby, and they take her in, and there's absolutely no way she could have a baby because, Tim, she had a... hysterectomy.
Yeah, right. She has nothing in there.
Right. So I don't want to give anything else away.
Right.
But this is one of
Why does she have a brand newborn baby?
But she's had a hysterectomy.
She's had a hysterectomy.
She can't have a baby technically.
Right. So where did the baby come from?
Right. It is messed up.
Yeah.
Do not watch it late at night. This will mess with your dreams.
Yeah,
it is really messed up. Tim, what did you think about this besides it being really messed up?
Well, yeah, it was just crazy.
Yes.
I'm like, how could this happen?
Yes.
Right? Is what
it is nuts. And I remember hearing about the story, and
I didn't really know everything.
Right, I didn't know all the details. In the documentary, this is a documentary, it goes over the details, and guys, the details are bleh. It is pretty dark. Let's just put it like that. So this is not, if you're the kind of person who doesn't like dark stuff, like, don't watch this, please. You need to be the kind of person who is okay with like true crime. Like,
can't get truer than this.
This is exactly.
It's real
graphic
footage of everything.
Very graphic.
Lots of footage.
Yeah, exactly. So
police camera footage and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But they break it down and show you everything. And Tim, I had to watch it just out of curiosity, and man, I almost regret watching it, but I'm glad I did it. I mean, ultimately, I'm glad I did. It was rough, and highly recommend. You have to be the kind of person who likes true crime and doesn't mind the graphic stuff to really watch it. Does that make sense? So
it's hard. It is a hard watch. But a necessary kind of like if you and like I said, there's definitely some twist to it at the end. It's not what you thought.
No.
So we'll say that.
Yeah. So it's tough. If you're a true crime lover and you don't mind like graphic stuff, this is in your wheelhouse.
Definitely in our area here, right here, where we live.
In this geographic area of the world. This is where it is. So anyway. I can only recommend it though for those two things.
Just went through the New Boston.
Yeah, exactly. Just those two things. If you're a true crime person and you don't mind graphic material, is that a good way to say it? It's for you. Seahorses All Night said, did you see the Netflix documentary The Crash? We did, and we covered it last month in the after show. So if you want to go check it out, you
really
can.
Good.
Yeah, we actually liked it quite a bit. And, I think we pretty much came up with the fact that we both thought
I think she did.
yeah,
it on purpose.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That there may have been something to her being. And well, the big thing was I told you the stuff that happened afterwards. So that apparently in jail she has not been the model citizen in there.
Right.
She's not been listening, has not been obeying, and she's been doing some stuff she shouldn't be doing in jail. Which means that her parole should probably be revoked. To be honest with you, even though it's coming up here pretty soon, right? I mean, like maybe 2 or 3 more years or something like that. So, but
not
anyway.
on a good path.
Exactly. So, yeah. So if you want to hear more of our thoughts about that, go to the after show for last month, and you can hear all about it. Maternal Instinct, though, was interesting. I'll let you guys know how Minions is next month. Let's talk about A Great Awakening, since you didn't see that.
Okay.
Religious film, Tim.
Okay.
So this is something really great
I've heard
to watch.
of The Great Awakening. Was this talking about the early 1900s or
yes,
something?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So you can watch this. You can rent this, I think, for $5 on like Amazon. It's pretty cheap, maybe $8. But still, it's not going to cost you a bundle. And this is something that'd be great for you to watch this weekend, Independence Day.
Too. Okay.
Okay, so it's about Benjamin Franklin.
Okay.
And his relationship with George Whitefield, Tim. Do you know who George Whitefield is?
I do.
This is what the movie is about. It is about Benjamin Franklin, who is kind of a religious skeptic, and his relationship with a preacher, George Whitefield.
Right.
Okay. So here's the thing. This movie is good. It's overly religious because it is by a religious organization. So if you're not a Christian, you're probably not going to get as much out of it. If you're a Christian, you probably will get a lot out of it. It does gloss over some of the stuff, like some of George Whitefield's past. Like George Whitefield actually advocated for slavery, which is not great. It does kind of mention that, but it doesn't mention it enough, is what the critics say. And I kind of understand why it didn't, just because of the story they were trying to tell. But I will say, I thought it was great. But I do think it's got a heavy religious bent. So if you're not religious at all, you may not like it. But the rent, did you see what it was to rent?
$5.99.
$5.99 to rent. It's definitely worth your $5.99 if you're at all interested. And so, Tim, it's all about the Second Continental Congress. Okay, do you know about the Second Continental Congress?
It's where they made the Bill of Rights and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
well, it was very contentious.
Yeah, very. A lot of people wanted to leave the union.
Yes, exactly.
And
so that's what really. So that's why it's great for this weekend, because it's a history lesson in there about America, right? And so, like, if you're looking for stuff about America to watch, you should watch it. But Tim, Hugh Slom says it was great. I felt that way too, but I'm just prefacing that to say that it does gloss over some of George Whitefield's, like, some of his. It kind of glorifies.
Glorifies without showing the truth.
Exactly, and so just keep that in mind when you watch it. Okay, I mean, that's fine as long as you do. But here's one thing that I will say about it that I can't say about most religious films. The acting is good.
Okay.
Like, the guy who plays George Whitefield and the guy who plays Benjamin Franklin are amazing.
Okay.
And the guy who plays George Washington is really good. The guy who plays Alexander Hamilton, not so good.
Okay.
But George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and George Whitefield, amazing. Like, their acting is amazing. So that's what was so good about it. It's like, I've watched a lot of religious films, and you know how the acting is out, Tim. It's like, and sometimes not so good. But the acting between Benjamin Franklin, George Whitefield, and George Washington specifically is great. Like, really good. The guy who plays Benjamin Franklin, like, you're going to believe he's Benjamin Franklin. Like, the way he delivers the lines, the wit with which he delivers the lines he nails it. And the guy who plays George Whitefield, he nails the voice and the look. Like he gets it. But again, it does gloss over some of George Whitefield's. Like I said, he did promote slavery, which they do mention in passing, but not enough to some people's liking. Okay. And so but here's the thing: if you have any kind of religious bent and you love American history, you gotta watch it.
Okay.
Good. And so, Tim, you're in that. You need to watch it. When you watch it, send me a message and let me know what you thought. And if you're watching it here in the live chat, send us a message to questions@arcaderepairtips.com if you watch any of these, and let us know what you thought as well. And Tim, you wanted to wrap it up before 8, and I think we're going to do that.
I think so.
Do you have anything else you want to say before we wrap it up here and be done?
No, I think we just thank everybody for watching. Everybody have a safe and happy 4th of July.
Again,
even if
keep
you
all
don't,
your fingers.
If you don't live in the United States, turn on TV and watch it. Watch us up. We really like a big, and this is 250 years.
250 years.
I remember when we were 200 years.
Yeah.
I remember the bicentennial was a big deal. So it's kind of a landmark time. Only 250 years old. That's crazy. If you from Europe, that's nothing.
Right.
You know? that's like the new part of Europe.
Right, exactly.
So,
I think Prince Charles made a joke about that when he came to speak to Congress. He's like, you guys have been around for 250 years, or as we like to call it, just the other day.
right, exactly.
So same kind of thing. No, it's and Tim, this is a great time, and I would highly recommend that this is a great opportunity for you to dig a little bit into the history of the country and maybe read the Constitution. Read the Declaration of Independence if you haven't in a while, and just remind yourself of why we enjoy the freedoms that we do, because it's very important. I think we sometimes forget about the Declaration of Independence, which is really short, but you can read it, and it's just amazing the power that people used to talk with back then. I always find it fascinating, like the way that they would talk and how strongly worded everything is, and how they chose their words so carefully. Nowadays, we throw words out like they're nothing. Back then, you
shoot a YouTube video and be done
when you read the Declaration of Independence, when you read the Constitution, you notice that every word was chosen very carefully, and that's something that we just don't get nowadays. And so it's worth it just to relive kind of that feeling that we had when America was formed, and how it was formed, and what it went into it. And so, give them both a read if you have the time. Maybe just the Declaration of Independence if you don't, and just let it wash over you that, it's only been 250 years, like Tim said. It's a lot shorter in the grand scheme of things than we realize. So, and you got to remember, my dad was an immigrant, Tim. And so, so he came over after this country was already formed and had to wait to get in, because, you had to do it the legal way, and the legal way is hard.
Right.
And so my dad and my grandfather, they had to wait almost a year and a half to be able to immigrate into the United States legally. And so, and the reason I have family in Canada, Tim, is because some of them didn't want to wait.
Yeah.
Like some of my dad's older brother and sisters, and so they went up to Canada because it was easier to get citizenship.
Okay.
So just to tell you. So don't take it for granted, the freedoms that we enjoy here. Look at all the people around who are coming from other countries and seeing what we have here and seeing how great it is. So let that wash over you as well. And we hope that you have a wonderful 4th of July if you're here in the States. Go watch some fireworks, even if it's on TV. Go have a cookout, Tim. I think we're going to do burgers tomorrow night. We're going to have some good times. And then we're going to go out, like I said, to my parents, and we're going to swim, have a parade, all that kind of stuff. So just looking forward to it. But you guys take care. Have fun celebrating, and we'll see you here next month for August. Looking forward to that. Tim, we're going to be getting close to the beginning of school. The kids won't be happy. But at the same time, it's going to be a lot hotter too, probably.
Yeah,
so
probably
everybody take care. Good night. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
We'll see you next month. And we're out.